Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Would you please give a warm welcome to the host of the Happy Hour, Chris Lane Sr.
Good evening, everybody. Um, you know how I like to start with a video? Yeah, I forgot that I really needed to do something before because I've got a new computer set up and we'll talk about and the permissions go, bro, you've got to set the permissions and then you got to restart. Well, we ain't going to restart. So we'll figure it out on the fly here, but until we do, I was going to play a song for this outfit that you guys might have heard of called The Ninth Gate, and Gary Hubbs, Frank Terzo, some guy in England, Mr. Smith, um, another guy up in Canada, uh, Hetriani. Maybe you heard of these guys. And all of a sudden, they did a little bit and now they're back with a vengeance. I was going to play their song, but now I can't. So I'll do the next best thing. I will bring up one of the esteemed members of the Ninth Gate. Everybody say hello to, directly from basically Vancouver, Gary Hubbs.
Hey, how's it
How are
going?
ya?
I'm doing great, Chris. How about yourself?
I, I should have realized that I should have tested that before. Yeah, it's you got to set the permissions with a new Mac, and I forgot to do that. So, oops. I don't
Oh
think it's
well.
gonna let me. Yeah, I would have to quit the browser and then come back, which we're not going to do that at this point.
Yeah.
So, anywho, yeah, the permissions are set. So next show will be great.
There you go.
But
Yeah.
I had all these nice new songs lined up that we're going to play, starting with. I guess I guess this is the latest one from you guys.
Yeah, it is. Chronologically, it is
The New World, yeah, which of course
yeah,
it's an old Frank Terzo song
it is,
because he
yes.
put it out what almost 2 years ago.
Just
But
about.
but you guys retooled it and redid it, and it's what's old is new again. It was fresh, it was cool. So
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. When a member of the band is a stealth collab master and another member of the band puts out the tracks, puts out the stems, then yeah, it didn't take much to get from point A to point B in my brain on that one. So took a while for us to get it out there, of course, but everything in its due time. And yeah, as it is, it's been long enough. It's almost fresh again, right? So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, exactly. Well, get everybody up to speed. Why don't you go back and I mean, you guys were on Frank's show
yeah,
this week,
yeah.
but maybe didn't not everybody caught it. So give us the Reader's Digest version of how the Ninth Gate even became a thing.
Okay, so starting at the very beginning, Frank really wanted to get on the Mom Show on the Metalhead Hippie channel. Mom being the month of metal, and Hippie would put on these shows at the end of the month, and it would be a celebration of metal, and it had to be new stuff. And in the chat one day, Frank had said, I'd love to be on the Mom Show, and Hippie basically laughed at him, said, "Haha, Frank, nice one."
Yeah, good. Not
So
known as a big metalhead, so I get where Hippie was coming from, but
for sure, yeah, for sure. But Frank took it personally, and he's like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna find some guys. I got this demo here that's old and dusty and sitting around, and I'm gonna find some bros, and we're gonna get on the Mom Show." And Frank emailed me and asked if I wanted to work on this, and I listened to it. I said, man, I'm in. I I didn't know Frank a ton back then, except I knew that he was, a fantastic songwriter and musician, and
Right.
a humble and gracious Canadian. And so,
As you all are, except for Smith, and we'll talk about him.
yes, but yeah, the song's great. Frank wanted a metal song, and he sent me a hard rock demo, and I thought that it wouldn't be too hard. It wouldn't be beyond the imagination to just up the energy a bit. And I can't remember if Frank suggested Hetriani. Like, hey, you know that Hetriani guy? Why don't you could you contact him for me, right? But Frank definitely had Mr. Smith in mind, and he said, "I'm going to contact Mr. Smith, and we'll do a full band around this thing." And I don't think any one of us went in thinking that this was going to be something that we're going to pursue more than the one song, but we all really enjoyed the process, and we all got along great. And Predictable came out and went over pretty well, and we found ourselves in a situation where we would love to repeat the process. And that was basically the formation of the band. And all for one for all four guys put their hands in the middle and said, "I'm in." And here we are.
Well, and that's the fantastic thing, and you can expound on this a little bit. Most of us in the community have done at least some collaborations with people, and it's fun to do and everything, but it never really becomes a band. But you guys are the exception to that because you absolutely have become a band.
We have now, I feel. For the longest time, I mean, can you really call yourself a band when you've released one song, right? That's, we can we can insist that we're a band, right?
Fair point.
But yeah, but are we? So after Predictable came out, we started working on another song that would become "Lay Down Your Guns," and that was a set of riffs that I had around that. I couldn't think of what to do vocal wise, lyrically, and I mean, to be honest, I'd much rather contribute in a band situation than have to come up with the answer to everything. You know what I mean? Like, chasing vocal melodies and vocal lines has always been the process that I've got to fight the hardest for. And I might come up with stuff that I'm really proud of, but man, was it a fight to get it there. So to have these sets of riffs that I didn't know what to do with, and to send them off to Frank, and he's like, "I'm on it. I'm on it." It fired me up. I'm on it, and it was super cool. So we worked on that song, and for various circumstances, it couldn't be released for a while. And this week, appearing on the Pulse as a unified group of four, and finally birthing the band as its own entity, to me really is like, okay, see, we told you, we told you guys this whole time, we are a band, we're committed, and here's the proof. So this week was I did a lot of work leading up to it, and I was exhausted after, and I was like, wow. And I had a Ninth Gate hangover. The next day I didn't want to look at emails, I didn't want to look at the videos, I didn't want to look at the comments or anything. I was like, I just one day, give me a day off. But couldn't help myself anyway.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
probably people would not be aware of the tremendous amount when you guys decided and set the date, June 9th, that you were going to formally introduce Ninth Gate as a band. You had to come up with merch, you had to pull a website together, you had to put a YouTube channel together. So you, Mr. Hubs, were a busy, busy boy behind the scenes that people wouldn't see until that day.
True, for sure. Yeah, yeah. It was a lot of work behind the scenes, building the infrastructure and stuff. But to me, anyway, and I think the guys agree, is that this is the kind of thing that legitimizes a band, and
Sure.
just makes presents itself in a professional manner to the outer world. I mean, our community is great. We're all supportive and stuff like that, and but to stand as an entity in the greater ecosystem, the universe. These are the minimums, right? YouTube channel,
Right.
Bandcamp, merch. I could have gone further and set up an Instagram and all the stuff, but you know, I, enough for now. Yeah, and I mean, we all have our strengths. We all bring different things. Um, I just happened to be in a position where I had the time and the wherewithal and the knowledge to just put the things together in time, right? So, you know, here we are.
Exactly. Now, this is an interesting thing to me. Now, three of the guys are Canadians, as you pointed out, and so you
Mhm.
have that in common. But you guys all live in different parts of Canada, and in case you, I'll do this for the U.S.
Sure.
because some people in the U.S. kind of suck at geography. Canada's a really big country, folks. It's as big as ours across. So Gary's on one end, and Frank and Hetriani are kind of on the other. There's a lot of distance between them. So,
There is.
and you guys musically styles again, hippie laughing at Frank a little bit. I can see it because he doesn't come out and impress you as a hard rocking guy. You're known as a fairly hard guy. Hetriani's a fairly hard rocker, but also pretty melodic. And so you a lot of different styles. How did you guys all blend, and what was the thought process? And how much did you talk about, let's do this, or curious behind the scenes on that?
Oh man, there was no like there was no round table of like who do we want our primary influences to be. Okay, you bring one band, everyone bring one band to the table. There was no moment like that, because when we were doing the first song, it was all like we're just doing a song together. We'll come up with a name and stuff like that, but we're just doing a song together. So as far as blending in, it's just been really organic. Like, I know that we're not a band that gets together every Thursday at 10 o'clock in a room that smells like sweaty balls and like, let's work on this for an hour, right? But it's worked out organically. No one seems to. I mean, there's been no ego involved, and so everyone puts their contribution in, and an organic thing happens. Whereas it gets passed along, people are informed by the one who had it before. So the first song we did, "Predictable," was a demo that Frank had written. So much of it was already in place, and it was just a little bit of a tweak. I think Hechiani transformed that song a lot from what Frank's basic power chord riffs were to he put a bit of flair into it and stuff like that. But everyone's had a chance to contribute and transform the songs a little bit as they get their hands on them, and it's been the rewarding process is opening up a file and hearing something for the first time, you're like, what? And listening to the second time, you're like, okay. And listening to the third time and going, fuck yeah. It's yeah, super cool. I don't know if I answered your question there.
No, you kind of did because
Yeah.
and again, it became organic. You guys didn't have the intent. Oh, we're going to be a band, but it became that as you guys went along.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd say that's fair to say. I mean, it's funny. I think about the other songs that we have, and you know, the New World. Again, here's a song. We're always starting with someone's demo in a way. "Lay Down Your Guns" was a demo that I did. It didn't have. It was an instrumental demo, but it was the riffs were there and the progression was there and stuff. But having said that, it the demo is radically transformed by the end. And I think you can hear it in New World, where Mr. Smith is the man behind the magic on that song, and the amount of layers and textures he put into that song. Everyone's heard that song 38 different ways, and
Yeah, literally
yeah,
30. Well, that's more
yeah,
than that. Actually, I think it's last count. It was 43 different ways.
a wild number, yes. But each one unique and each one very cool. and I think ours is as well unique and cool. And that's kind of like you can see from what Frank served up as New World to what we produced is kind of like the transformation that happens. So super rewarding process. Uh, everyone on their instrument and the responsibility in the band performs, conceives and performs of things that I could never think of, right? And that's the magic of working together in a band.
Yeah.
So fun. Yeah.
Well, yeah, the sum is greater than the parts.
Absolutely. Yeah. It is.
Now that's very cool. I
It's
am
been
trying in the background. There's no way I'm going to be able to get this video to work, which is damn disappointing for me. But because we're talking about this fantastic song, I can't stick and play it. So, folks, go out there, click on it. Camellia has put the links in for Ninth Gate, and their songs are up. So this is your homework. You listen to Gary talk about this stuff, and then you go home and you listen to the songs, because your host here is a dumbass and forgot a very critical thing to do. Now, having said that, how's my audio? Amazing. Camera, new computer is fantastic, because the old one, but there's always something with the new computer, and I forgot to do that. So, golly shucks. Well, let's take a second. Let's say hi to all our people in the chat. There is the aforementioned Camellia from Down Under, throwing links, as always. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. There's the Mix Club. Hey, Rhett. Huevos. Lori's Mishmash. We all know and love her. We'll see her tomorrow night. We'll both be on her program at some point.
Yeah.
There's the formerly fuzzy, now clean-shaven and handsome, Chad Freeman. What's up, my man? Good to see you. Hugh Caldwell, a great guitarist from the great country of Scotland, who's back playing like a beast. I'm so great. And, boy, he sent me some stuff this week that you guys will hear maybe in a week or so. It's kick-ass. Hugh is back, boys and girls.
Awesome.
And it's like he never left. So good stuff there. Let's see who else. Our good friend Mike Shaner is here. Good to see you, Mike. Hope you are well, my friend. Always love to see Mike in the streams, because that means he's feeling at least decent.
Absolutely.
And did I miss any? I'm sure I missed some people. Oh, there he is. James Myers, denizen of a brand new house. And we got to see a little bit of his house on Lori's show. What a cool house, man. I was jealous of the wainscoting and the beautiful wood floors. And, man, I bet the drums sound amazing in there.
Oh, man. Yes.
Yeah, nice live room like that. Well, that's what Zeppelin. I mean, they recorded in that foyer. That's how Bonzo got that amazing sound. So,
oh, man.
And James sounded great before. I can't imagine how good he's going to sound recording in that ambient space. So, that's going to be good stuff. All right. Sure. If I missed anybody, my apologies. I'll talk about my eyes later, but they're a little better, but they're, it's, the chat is still over here and it's still a little fuzzy. So we all do the best we can, right?
For sure.
Dipping those toes. Okay. Sounds good.
Nice.
So let's talk about Smith, because, we've got 3 Canadians in the band. We believe Mr. Smith is from England.
Yes.
But we don't know that.
No.
We don't even know that it's a Mr. Smith. It could, maybe it's not. Maybe it's a Ms. Smith. We don't know. We know so little about this Smith character other than really a damn good drummer. We know that.
For sure.
And really a fine audio engineer.
Yes. So and a well-rounded musician.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really, frankly, I love his bass playing. It really, and you're a bass player, I'm a bass player. Mr. Smith is a tasty bass player. He's
for sure.
Not over the top, but man, he's got good feel, and he always plays seemingly the right amount, the right thing.
I'm going to use a hockey analogy here, if I can. Smith Smith almost operates from the GM's box in a way. I'm
Yeah.
on a new iPad, and it's got that. You see my camera do it.
Yeah.
It's like trying to follow me and stuff. Now I'm
It's
over
pretty, that is
here.
pretty cool. Yeah.
Now I'm over here. And if I do this, it's going to be like, oh, I got to zoom out. But yeah, Smith seems like he's operating from the GM's box where he sees the whole ice, like
Yeah.
um, as a bass player, if I'm like a defenseman or something like that, I can only see what I can see. He's looking at things from above. So when he plays bass, he's not looking for bass playing attention. He serves the song every time when he
Yeah, and
composes.
and I think for me, I think that's the highest compliment you can pay to a bass player.
Mm,
Served the song.
for sure.
And yeah, I love that and I completely agree. He just he's not in there like I'm sure he can play some amazingly fancy licks. And it's like, well, that's not what the song calls for, so that's not what I'm doing.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, maybe it's the wisdom of working for a long time on music, where, another hockey analogy. He's like, yeah, I can score 50 goals every year. I'd rather win a Stanley Cup, be part of a team, and this and that, right? So I got the game on in the background. I was
Yeah.
listening to it before I came on here, but it's funny. Like I still, I don't. I don't know much more about Mr. Smith than you all guys know. But what I do know is that every time we've had the chance to work together, I can speak for Frank, Het, and myself, the three Canadian boys, that we're blown away by what he contributes. Um, I just caught Coldy's comment
Yeah.
there. Yeah, I busted my balls all day so that I could sit back for a little bit at the end, and but we're all blown away, and we joked about how fantastic it is to have like a real musician in the band, because he gets it, man. He really does. And you know I can't say too much about how much respect I have for his capabilities and his sensibilities, for
Yeah.
sure.
I've been impressed every time out of the box with, you know, the things that he does and the people he's worked with. Love the things he's done with Valerie Bott. Again,
For
just
sure.
really served. Things he's done with you guys, fantastic. He's worked with a number of people, and yeah, it's good stuff. And I think to your point, yeah, a well-rounded, experienced musician with a lot of obviously studio seat time. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know how much. I don't know how many hours he's had behind the console, how many hundreds of hours he's had behind the console, right? I don't know what different gigs he's done along the way, right? But he speaks highly of the band, which makes me happy, because I think of, someone who's, you know, he's more than just a bedroom musician, right?
yes,
Clearly.
yeah,
And for him to hold the band in high regard makes me happy, because, you know, I feel like we're actually doing something. But it just, his originals, man, like they blow my mind. I'm blown away by his production. It's fantastic. Yeah. In
yeah.
fact, in fact, we were thinking, going forward, in the spirit of keeping things in house, that Mr. Smith is probably going to be the one doing our production going forward.
Which would make sense.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Frank Sky's great.
Yeah.
Frank Skies, but
Yeah.
and of course I had to bust on Frank when he said that during the I've got a guy.
Yeah.
Can't let you
Yeah.
do Frank,
Yeah.
but
Well, Frank's guy does amazing work too. I mean,
absolutely no zero question.
yeah, yeah, he does. But again, that's an outlay of cash,
Yeah,
and also availability, right? So,
yeah, all of
you
it.
know, Frank tends to do studio time on Thursdays, and if you had a great idea for something on Friday, well, we'll look at it Thursday, kind
Yeah,
of thing, right? So,
catch you next week. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
and nothing wrong with that. But I mean, there's something also wonderful about keeping things in house too.
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely. Well, I think again, it's that little bit of control, and I think that adds to the organicness of you guys working together. Is we have control over all aspects, and we're not waiting on some outside person to do whatever they do, as good as they might be.
For sure, for sure. And I mean, I wouldn't say that if I didn't have trust in his ability to be that producer either, right? Of course, that'd
Yeah,
be foolish to be like, well, I did the first song. I did the mixing and mastering on the first song, and it's fine. It's okay. It's all right. But it's also just one of those straight ahead. It's not too different than the stuff that I create, which is just straight ahead sledgehammer rock, right?
yeah,
But if you do want to introduce textures and nuances and stuff, I can admit when something is above my pay grade, right? Or
sure.
at this point in time that's above my pay grade.
Well, yeah, exactly.
So
We've had an offline discussion because you're dipping into Logic. I'll be dipping in. I've been a garage band, and I'm going to be moving into Logic at some point this year.
mm,
And full. I will. I know for a fact I will still use GarageBand as my primary songwriting, get the
mm,
stuff down tool, but
mhm.
to up my game as far as mixing and mastering and that kind of stuff, I've got to
Yeah,
move to Logic. It's just I've maxed out what GarageBand can do. I think and GarageBand's pretty damn capable, but
yeah,
Logic obviously is a lot more capable. So
for sure, for sure. It's been a lot of fun playing around with it. And the very first thing I did was open up an almost completed GarageBand project that Het and I were working on for yet another project that we're working towards. But opening up that file into Logic and just having everything there, but having just so many more doors unlocked and possibilities
right,
unlocked.
a familiarity in appearance, but more tools.
Yeah, and a certain amount of convenience too, because if you're hacking up something on the go demo wise, you can port it over pretty quick and
Yeah,
take it to the next level and stuff, right? So
for sure.
yeah, we're gonna go to Cold Acre University,
Yeah,
you and I.
exactly. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
we're gonna hit up our buddy Coldaker, and we should say hi to our friend Coldaker. And by the way, don't bust on Gary Workin, the guy who texts us all the time while he's supposed to be driving a forklift. So don't. That's Mister Pot
Ha.
calling Mister Kettle. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
Everybody say hi to Jerry Gomes, who has joined us. Good to see you. And I noticed Mike from Rhodey's Jam Cave snuck in. So good to see you, Mike. Hope you're
Rudy.
well, sir.
Man, I hope those guys go live again sometime soon.
Yeah, I guess they. Last I knew, I guess they were kicking it around. They were on a little bit of a
Okay.
hiatus, but
Okay.
they're planning on doing something here in the future. So that's good
Yes.
because it's. I mean, Rhodey's Jam Cave is a bitchin' place, and they're cool guys and good musicians, and it's fun.
It's fun to watch people having fun.
It sure is. I'm a big
Yeah.
fan of it.
Yes.
And their clothes are on, and so I don't feel dirty about watching that. So
Sometimes there's barefoot bass though.
well, yeah, I get that. I, I could never do that for I was shocked too many times in my misspent youth with bad
Oh,
grounding things. So
ah,
I have I have a fear
yeah.
of that sort of thing. Hey, Timber Traveler, what's going on? How are you, man?
September.
Yeah. So yeah, that's not something I got to have the foot grounding footwear on,
Yeah. No, that makes
and why I
sense.
like the fuzzy mic thing, just so
Oh, that taste, man. Oh, geez. I had to change the battery in the old smoke detector a couple weeks ago, and I was telling my kids about testing
oh
the
yeah,
9-volt battery and stuff. I don't think they've ever tasted that, but I will never. I can taste it just talking about it. I'll never forget it.
absolutely.
But it's similar to the taste of the microphone when it
Oh,
gets you.
oh, that zap is it'll get your attention.
Oh yeah, wakes you up
Yeah.
for sure. Makes all your drinks taste funny for the rest of the night too.
Look, you ain't been around unless you're standing in kind of a moist beer-soaked carpet and
Mm,
gotten a little zap because the club was never really wired properly.
for sure, for sure. I'm gonna say that I got about 8 to 10 more minutes before I'm gonna sashay away and
Fair enough.
scurry off into my hole. But
Uh,
um,
well, then
yeah.
that brings me to 10 minutes is probably a good amount of time to talk about what are you guys' plans going forward? Do you have some new material you're working on? An album? What are you guys thinking?
Well, there's at least two more things on the burner somewhere over at Frank's end right now. I think Frank said he's got an idea for a song that he wants to shop around the guys and see if we're interested. And I know that Frank's got another set of my riffs that, man, again, like these, something has to happen with these riffs. They're, I can't let them, I can't let them die on the vine. So, Frank says he's excited about them and stuff like that. I mean, we've got to say that Frank's also pretty close to putting out an album himself here. So he's been working on his own thing, and we all know that he's a prolific guy, always putting out material and stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, the Pulse is a full time job for crying out loud. But there's at least two projects potentially coming down. The fourth song that you can't hear yet. Well, you can't hear any of the songs tonight, but
Yeah.
the fourth. I wasn't going to give you the fourth one. I was going to give you three, but not the fourth, and that's the one that's going to be on the Charity for Life album, Drones. And so, you know, that's four songs we got, and I don't know. We were joking about Ninth Gate being on June 9th on the Pulse, and I said to Frank, I was like, the next time the 9th is on a Monday is February. And Frank's like, we'll have an album by then. It's like, okay, well, I'm in, man. I'm totally in. So
That's very cool.
if we're halfway there, then we're halfway there. I mean, it's certainly not like it's not like the old days where an album would sound like it was all recorded at the same time in the same studio in the same time frame, right? You know, like it's always gonna be like a compilation album because songs are different characteristics along the way. But it's 2025. We'll do what we can, you know. So
Yeah. Well, and with Smith, he can level the mix and he can do a lot of things to tie it together, even though it was recorded in disparate times. And, so that's not a deal breaker.
for sure, yeah. But I mean, to a man, we're all excited about the idea. We hung out for probably about an hour after the Pulse ended, and just the four of us on screen and chatted, and it was really good. And Frank said on air that he would trade everything to be full time in the band, and I would wholeheartedly agree. You know, if they said, "Hey, band meeting Friday, 11 o'clock your time every week," I'd be like, "All right, I guess the show's done, and I'm been called into band camp, right?" So
That's
I,
very cool.
I'm not. It's not hyperbole. Like it's not going to happen. But
Yeah.
I would trade the pizza slices and the clipboard and the sparkle jar and all that shit just to be the bass player full time in Ninth Gate. Yeah,
Well, I think it's amazing to, again, you guys are kind of scattered across Canada and then with Smith across the world, and to find like-minded people that you really like working with and have a camaraderie and a musical direction that fits together nicely. Kind of rare and pretty cool, that's why I wanted to have you on and give you an opportunity to talk about this. I'm as excited for you guys as I think anybody because, I knew behind the scenes that stuff was percolating and it stalled out for a while. And I will publicly say, hopefully I won't embarrass you, Gary took a big leadership role in saying, guys, what are we doing here? We've got some good material. Let's get past some of the little things that is holding this project back and let's get in front of the public and do this. And so sometimes that's what it takes is somebody to just take charge a little bit. And I compliment you for doing that. We're all the better for it.
oh, thank you. That's very very gracious thing to say. I don't know if I never I never gave up on the band. That's for sure. And I never gave up on the idea that we would get these songs out. And Yeah, I was willing to fight for it, and there was time that passed, and I'm history will show that I guess I was always fighting for the band to go forward, and it happened to needed to happen at the right time. That's all. We'll put
Yeah,
it that way.
and that's but to your point, the easy thing to do, and what most people would have done is said, "It's been almost 2 years. You know what? We're moved on.
Yeah,
Let's do something else." And
yeah.
you didn't allow that to happen. So,
Well,
and I
thanks.
much to your credit, and the other guys too, obviously, for them to go, "Well, yeah, what are we doing here? Do we
Yeah,
like each other? This is a good project. Let's figure it out and let's get going."
yeah. I carry a little bit of regret that the real life in the sweaty room that smells like balls band foul face that I'm in, that we never, not one of us in that three piece ever took charge. We were always like, we were cool with what's going on. No, this is cool. We'll just practice our songs forever for no point. We'll play a handful of parties and a handful of clubs, but we played more than a handful of parties. But yeah, I didn't want to. I don't want didn't want that to happen again. I didn't want history to repeat itself. And things are so much different to do now than they were back in the early 2000s that I'm talking about before too, right? Like we
Right.
can we can make a decent sounding demo. You can create
Yeah.
merch and not have to buy 500 shirts to sell one, and burn 499 10 years later, right? So yeah, this project has been so much, so rewarding. Of all the stuff that I've worked on in these past coming on 5 years of joining the community. The band is one of the things I'm proudest of and gets me the most excited. So, man, let's go, boys.
Yeah, no, I think it's just that's fantastic. And that's the thing. You could just see the enthusiasm from you, from Frank. Petriani, I I think he's internally he gets really excited, but he's not a demonstrative. If I saw him pogoing across the room, I would be concerned somebody spiked his coffee because he's just not a that's not who
Yeah,
he is.
yeah.
But you could just tell that you guys all pulled together and had a passion for this, and I think that's just fantastic.
Well, thank you very much, Chris. I'm almost at the time I got to jump off here. I haven't been paying attention to the chat, so
That's
sorry.
okay. They're doing their usual cracking wise. Now,
Yeah,
Lori asked about your camera, and it's the new iPad, so it's got an auto. It
yeah,
it will follow the face.
yes. If I stroke my beard, it should back up. Show the no, no.
No,
It's gonna
no, it's not gonna. It's
son
gonna
of a.
lie.
There we go. It does weird things anyway. What's up there?
Yeah,
Camera. There we go. Weird things.
the stalker camera.
Mm,
Hey, there's Les Nagy and Pole Vault has joined us. So good to see both of you gentlemen.
right on.
How art thou? So I appreciate you being gracious with your time, and it's great to hang out with you.
Thank you for letting me join you. And it's
Well,
been
it was my pleasure because we got a lot of this on Frank's show, but like for me, I'm trying to feed the cats and I'm trying to cook dinner and I'm trying to garden, and so I missed segments of the show, and so I thought, what the hell, it's my show. I'll carry on and we'll have a quick recap, and
yeah,
for
man.
anybody like me that maybe didn't get all of it on Monday.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. It's funny because you know we're talking now as if like host and guest, and well, thank you for joining. We joke around back and forth every damn day.
That's right.
But no, it's when you asked me to come on, and I was like, I'll try. It's always dicey with my family responsibilities and stuff. And as it turns out, I'm stuck here at work watching a door that's not no one's coming through it. So you know what? This actually might work. This might work better than if I was at home. So
Yeah.
it's
Hey, sometimes things work out, right?
timing is pretty cool. Only once every 6 weeks, I work this weird late shift on a Thursday. So 6 weeks from now, I'll take
There
you on
you
a
go.
tour a tour of the print shop.
There we go. Next, and I'll
Yeah.
tell you, I'm going to hold you to that because
Okay.
That's what I do for a living. That's what Gary does for a living. So in 6 weeks, folks, you're going to get the inside skinny of what printing is all about and what we do when we're not standing behind a bass guitar and yelling in a microphone.
Yes.
6
Right
weeks.
on. I'll set up some demos, get some stations set up. Here we go.
Beautiful. Love
Right
it.
on.
All right, my friend. Thanks for
Cool.
being on. Great having you.
Thanks, Chris, and I'll be saying hello in the chat once I get home from work.
All right. Be well.
See
Thanks for
everyone.
joining us. All right.
Right on.
There
Thanks,
he
Chris.
goes. Gary Hubbs, everybody. And he's out. Hey, want to say hi to Miss Stephanie? Well, I got pole vault saying hi to Miss Stephanie. There's Miss Stephanie. Hello, how are you? I loved your new song. I had it queued up, but you guys missed. I forgot to set the permissions on my computer, so I can't play anybody's song tonight, which sucks. Because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I had 6 songs, and they're all amazing. Miss Stephanie's was one of them, but next week, folks. So I do apologize for that. You get a new computer and you forget that there's a lot of little things you got to tweak, and I had them all set up, but I keep finding stuff, and I'll spend some time talking about my GarageBand exploits here in a few minutes. But everybody, that was Gary Hubbs, and for those of you who just joined us, welcome to the show. I'm glad to have you guys tonight. I'll be going solo for the next little bit. I may have another guest join me a little later this evening. But, oh, hey, there he is, the dog paw. How about this for clarity and volume and you get a new computer and things work better. It's pretty amazing. So good to see you, Dog Paw. You missed Gary because, well, maybe you were listening. I don't know. Yeah, you liar. I use PCs too, and that is an unadulterated bullshit statement. And don't be spreading bullshit in my chat, Dog Paw, unless it's funny. Funny bullshit I'm great with, but don't just lie like that, because that ain't the way PCs work, brother. And I only have to set things once. It was pretty amazing. It was, for those to backtrack, I had a 2017 iMac that, I used every day and ran the hell out of it. And it was a very good, very reliable machine, but time caught up with it. And there were certain aspects. The sound card was clearly getting a little flaky, and some other aspects. And I was at a deadline for, I just submitted one of my annual magazines to the printer on Monday, and I had to get this thing done. And the machine was just not functioning well enough for me to do my job. I had gone on Gmaze Saturday and attempted to play live, and it was not having it at all. And then Sunday I booted it up, rebooted it, tried to get some work done for the magazine. It's like, I can't do it anymore. So I went to the computer store, and I had been planning to buy a new Mac. Anyway, it was on my agenda, but I got forced into it. So I got home at, I don't know, 1 o'clock, and by 4 I had the two machines talking to one another, and it's writing data over, and then by 5 a.m. Monday morning, all the data, and I mean well over a terabyte and all the internal stuff, had it all transferred over. And I booted up the new Mac, and it said, "Hi, I know who you are. Here's all your websites that you use. Here's all your passwords. Let's go to work." And I did, and it was amazing. And Macs are fantastic about migrating in that way. They are just amazing. But, some of the software, you do have to reset permissions or whatever, because it does not transfer that sort of thing. So that's where we're at on that. But it was a good experience, and this machine is fast. It's good. I'm very happy about that. Okay. Okay. Oh, nice. Secrets are good from the boyfriend. I'm not even going to dignify that dog paw. Yes, that ain't. Macs are for people who like to get work done, and it's my job. So, anyway. Now, again, let's don't be spreading lies in my chat poll vault. McDonald's makes, I mean, their Egg McMuffin is one of the better things that they make, but let's don't pretend it's good. I'll eat it there if I have to, certainly before they're terrible burgers, but let's not pretend that McMuffins are good. I make my own at home, and they're way, way better. So, anywho, yeah, and of course, I bought a considerably more equipped. I mean, their base model is pretty kick ass, but I needed more storage, more memory, and everything, so I paid a little bit more than that. Let's see. Yeah. Lori has seen my in the chat. You know, we're food people, and so Lori will post what she made for lunch, and I'll post my breakfast, and because my breakfast is her lunch because of the time change difference. So, oh yeah, you gotta look at each other's food. We don't send each other any other kind of pics. We just it's funny you should mention that, Miss Stephanie, because I need to get back to making some cooking videos. I enjoy doing it. Now, the next one I'm going to make is I watched Jade when Brad was there, and they had gone on the fishing trip, and that was amazing. And Jade was filleting the fish. And I thought, oh my God, she's going to cut her finger off, and there's going to be blood spurting everywhere. It scared me, frankly. So the next video I will make is basic knife skills to keep yourself safe. And then we'll do some more cooking ones. But I have very sharp chef knives, and now of course I'll cut myself tomorrow since I bragged on it. But yeah, knife safety is important. So yeah, I will be doing that one. Anyone? I know you all fancy a square sausage. You savage, you. You're gonna keep something under that kilt, don't ya? Anyway, well, the elephant in the room. Notice I'm not wearing glasses. Notice my eyelid is not all droopy and goofy. They changed my medication 2 weeks ago because the first medication they put me on basically made me feel sick as hell and did nothing. So wasn't that effective. But they put me on steroids, and steroids are awesome. But I do not have double vision for the first time in basically a year. And the eyelid's not droopy. I can see. And it is lovely. And I can see you lovely people. And that is not the case previously. So I'm not going to belabor that, but I'm feeling better and doing better. And I'm very happy about that. So that's the little health report, and I'm sure we can talk about more in the chat if you guys want to talk about your health or not. But maybe not. Oh, the OptiGrab. Oh, that good stuff. That's from The Jerk, folks. In case you're not the Steve Martin movie. And yeah, Reiner with the OptiGrab. That pretty funny bit. I was thinking about that movie the other day. I haven't seen that movie in a long time. That's good. Yeah, it's just nice to not have the limitation. Now it's still I'm not out of the woods by any stretch of the imagination. Probably still a little bit of tweaking for the dosage. The dosage I was on the first week helped, but I still had double vision. They upped it the second week, and then towards the end of that, the double vision had gone away for the first time, and now they've upped it once again. And the thought is that should help me with some of the tiredness of my voice and the tongue. We'll see. I don't think I'm going to need more than I'm taking right now. And again, if you have to be on steroids long term, you want to take as little as you possibly can get away with. But yeah, it's everybody. Well, and this is the thing. Believe you me, I'm not one of those Mac apologists or Apple. I think Apple does a lot of, frankly, slimy shit, like a lot of big corporations. I like Macs because I've used them a very long time, and in my business, they're just better equipped to do publishing, which is how I make my living. For me personally, they work very well for music production as well, so that's cool. But I know that there are PCs out there that work great and people use them. It doesn't, all roads lead to Rome. You've heard that expression. If it works for you, if you can do your job, if you can make music, what the little label on the machine says, who gives a shit? It's kind of like DAWs, Is Logic better than Cubase? Who cares? I know Smith is using some DAW that on software terms is absolutely prehistoric. And I can't even remember the name. He's mentioned it on his show a couple times. Works perfectly. That makes no difference. It's not the name on the tool. It's just using the tool. So I'm with you on that, Gary. I don't care. Yeah, it's and I will say this, it's great that everybody helps each other in the community. Tony Howie joined us on Gmail last week, and he sounded amazing. Now, I'd been trying to help him for the couple weeks previous, and we just couldn't get past one aspect. And, we did some privates, and he said, I think I need one piece of gear. And so he got it, and that was the key. And now he sounds great. So the point is, help each other out. We all have a little bit of expertise that, we can help each other. Yeah, it's pretty noticeable that I'm not, sitting here like this and doing the, like I have been doing for the last 7 months or whatever it was. And that was a big part of why I was wearing the glasses. It was to help me see the screen a little better, but primarily to hide it so you guys didn't have to look at my goofy eye all the time. Anyway. Yes, I've met Boston girls in person. Windows 10. What is the current? It's Windows 11 now, isn't it? I mean, I'm so old, I remember Windows 3. But yeah, Tony is a really good guy. He's just a nice dude. And even though I was not able to get him across the finish line, by he and I talking about it, it clued him in as to what the problem probably was, and he was able to solve it. And he sounded great on Gmail last week. So that was a good day. I mean, the week before, I couldn't even play. My signal was so staticky and so crappy that it's like, I'm not going to subject people to this. Good night. See you next week. And I was much better last week. Tony was great. Yeah, it was a good show last week. So Saturday is where I like to be on Gmails. I am probably way behind in the chat here. Yeah, it's interesting, and it depends on the... this camera works really well for me in StreamYard and in my own setup when I go on other people's shows, and if they're using EV Mux hates this camera for some reason. It just does. It says the frame rate is slow. Well, it's ridiculous. The frame rate is standard. It's as good as everybody else's. But for whatever reason, the software interprets this camera as not having the right frame rate. So it's a little flaky. And so you never know. Yeah, Tony was great. Yeah, well, it's one of those things that, I'm getting used to. I had 2015 vision my entire life. I had 2015 vision on my 59th birthday. My 60th birthday, it had regressed. It was only 2020. Well, it's not that good anymore because I'm older. What are you going to do? Yeah. All right. I'm just kind of looking to see if I'm missing anything really pertinent in the track on the side here. Yeah, there's some aspects of it. I mean, I think the sound is better than StreamYard's, but it's got some other kinks that I'm not crazy about. So we're going to play, Dom and I are talking about, because I think we auto renew in June and the price is ridiculous. I don't want to pay that money. I'd much rather spend the money on guitars and other stuff. So we're having a quick discussion. We're going to try a couple other things real quick. So you may see me under different software here the next couple weeks as I try a couple things, but we shall see on that one. Yeah, you just got to get the signal and get it out there. And for me, I mean, OBS is really good. A lot of people can use it. It does not work as well on Macs for, whatever reason, even though Macs are Unix based. And it's a Unix thing, but there's something lost in the translation. So Jade and I had a long discussion about this. It's a little kinky on Macs, and I don't have the time or the patience to deal with kinky stuff. I need something that's fairly easy to run when I have guests on, that kind of thing. So, StreamYard has been a good choice for that. And frankly, it would continue to be a good choice if they hadn't outrageously raised the price. And they raised it far beyond the value of the product, in my opinion. So that's my gripe there. Yeah. Well, there you go. See, Red. Yeah, don't get excited. It's not that kind of kinky stuff, Chad. Yeah, Unix, Linux. Yeah, that's what's under the hood, but who knows? And again, that's kind of that black box stuff. I don't get in the weeds on this kind of stuff. I don't care. Does it work? Not work? How easy does it work? These are the things I care about. Again, why I like GarageBand so much. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles of some of the DAWs out there. But for a guy who's writing songs and doing things like that, fire it up, easy to navigate, I'm getting good sound. It works great in that respect. And I don't try and make it do things that it's not capable of doing or was not really designed to do. And again, I'll be moving to Logic at some point here in the next 6 months. And it's more capable of some of those higher end things that I'm now finding myself starting to want and need. Mm-hmm. Ooh, the old 8mm, huh? Good stuff. This is a good question. Um, I use CapCut, and I tried a bunch of them, and CapCut for me really worked well. It gave me the layering and some of the things that I really cared about. The audio was easy to deal with, and of course every Mac has iMovie on it, and iMovie is solid for what it does, but it's pretty limited. And Papa Tom mentored me on that, and I went as far as I could go in iMovie very quickly. And so I tried LumaFusion, and I tried three or four different ones. I still have a couple of them on the computer. I just don't use them. But I found CapCut worked really well, to the point where I actually pay the subscription. I use the pro version, which is $9 a month. The free version is great. You don't need more than the free version, maybe, unless you're trying to be Fellini or something. But the pro version gives you some extra filters and some other things that have proven to be pretty handy. So, oh well, okay. So there you go. Yeah, I think CapCut is pretty good. DaVinci Resolve, I did have that one for a while, and what I didn't like about that dog paw is it didn't handle green screen stuff. Well, it handled it fine, but it was very complex to do it well, and it was more than I wanted to invest the time in getting good at. So that's one that sits in the background, and I have not used probably that one for 3 or 4 months. It's really solid stuff, but it's parts of it I feel are overly complicated, or just they're not consumer grade. I think they're if you're really into film, maybe you would understand it and it would make more sense to you. But for a guy who's only going to play with it a couple times a month, it didn't make sense to me. And then the Wondershare. Lori gets great results with that. So, all right, any other ones in there? Okay, so yeah, he's a Filmora guy. And you know what? I'm with you on this. I have access to Final Cut Pro. It's part of my Adobe suite. I could use it anytime I want. And as much as I like most Adobe software, and of course they bought it from somebody else, I find it to be unusable. I don't care for it at all. Works, but there's a learning curve there that I was not willing to spend the time to figure out. Okay, how far behind am I? Yeah, am I misspeaking? Is it Premiere is the Adobe one? Whatever the Adobe one was, I fired it up, and it looked fine and everything, but I did not want to spend the time in it. Maybe it was Final Cut Pro's the other one. Anyway, I know I've played with that one too. But, yeah, again, there's to Gary's point, when they're doing some divide and conquer with their band there, and I think Gary mentioned it on the show, but it may have been when we were talking backstage that most of the time you're forced to be the one man band. You got to do everything. Well, I mean that's my situation here, and I don't. I like doing everything to an extent, but I don't feel like I want to spend the time to be super proficient at video and music production and this and that and the other thing. You got 24 hours in a day, and I got to drink whiskey for a couple hours on Fridays. So right there, that's out as far as learning new stuff. All right. Yes, save the links. Lori is throwing links. Camila is throwing links. Always good stuff on Fridays. I'm looking forward to getting to Friday. It's been a long week. I guess, I don't know, one of the nights, Sunday nights, Monday nights, whatever it was, I never went to bed. I just worked on the magazine for basically 24 hours straight because with the computer issues, I was behind. So I had to do what I had to do, and I was tired. Well, yeah, I mean, you would look at it in a completely different, I mean, for a guy like me, this is consumer kind of stuff. And again, back to that black box. I don't need to know how the chroma works and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, I understand it from my other job, but I just do not want to put that kind of time into it. I want to get a couple video clips and stand in front of them and strum my guitar and hit render and, and post it and get on with my life. All right. Am I getting all the links? So, got pole vault. There we go. The parking lot warrior with Gary. What was a fun show. Yeah, last week, because I was up working on the magazine, I actually got everybody's show. I don't always make it to the end of Layla's show, the Chill Zone, because it's been a long day, long week, long night, and it's such a chill show that, I find myself being sleepy. But last week I went all the way through all of them, and it was good. Last week I was having a good, I was having a good time. So there you go, Friday night hang with the aforementioned Lori's Mishmash and friends. And Lori has a lot of friends. She's a nice lady. Nice lady. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Again, stuff that is native Mac or written by Mac people tend to have pretty clean interfaces and tend to be kind of straightforward. Not always, but mostly that's true in generalities. Although, there are some programs, and I don't know, they may have been ported over. I've got a couple that are basically Mac programs that are, I don't know, maybe they were PC at one time because they're kludgy in the controls sometimes. They're just weird commands. The 4th of July show. When does the 4th fall? I'm going to look at my calendar real quick. It's on a Friday. Okay. Well, there you go. I will be up in Bozeman, Montana, visiting my father, who is actually in town here right now. They came down yesterday. Unfortunately, we were attending a service for a long time family friend who had passed away, and so they came down for that. But we're going to turn around and hit the road and go up there for the 4th. So that's what we're up to. So, Chris. Huh. Yeah, it's amazing what we used to spend on software and what we can get now. I mean, you couldn't touch a DAW that was worth a shit for less than a couple $1,000. And now you've got all these free or very low cost. I mean, Logic's $200. Reaper is like 60. I don't know the prices some of the other ones, and several. GarageBand is free. I know a version of Cubase is free, and then they've got an upgrade. So yeah, there's a lot. There's been a lot of change in that respect. But yeah, CapCut is just solid. Now, owned by TikTok, so we'll see. if they're in fact going to stay in business. I don't know. Again, that's political crap. Who cares? Not for me to worry about. Why, yes, it is. I've actually been. Now, they build select acoustics up there, Hugh, and I've been in the factory, and it's very cool. And, well, I've got my Villa Music shirt on. Let me pull back. This is the music store in Bozeman, and it's a kick-ass music store, and they've got a lot of great Gibsons in there, along with Taylors and Martins. I mean, it's. I know I did some video. I don't know, 2 years ago, on the show of the store, and I'll do it again. But I love that store. My Yamaha here came from that store. We were up there, I guess it was 2 years ago, and I played it and I loved it, and I put it back on the rack, and my wife saw the look on my face, and she goes, "You want that guitar, don't you?" And I went, "Yeah," and I guess I gave the puppy dog eyes. She goes, "Buy it." "Thanks, dear. I will." And it's a great guitar. I love it. So yeah, great store up there. And okay, a personal interaction, which I'm a big fan of. I will tell you a little story about, I'm not playing video tonight because I forgot to do something. I had that same thing. I was working on the magazine. I really hadn't gotten into GarageBand. And Hugh sent me some tracks. He and I had been talking about it, and he sent me some tracks, I don't know, about a month ago. And I had incorporated them to one of my songs. I was really happy with it. But I kept listening to it, and I thought, you know what? If Hugh would get out his Telecaster and do some kind of Telly Nashville licks on this song, I think it would be amazing. So I pitched him on that, and he said, "I'll see what I can do." And he sent me the tracks. And man, I'm a happy guy. So I fire up GarageBand, and nothing. It kept crashing. I'm like, the F is going on here? And I'm pretty good at troubleshooting. I'm very systematic. So I kept opening projects that were dumber and dumber, for lack of a better term, had less tracks, less things. And I finally got to some older projects that had just basic stuff, and they opened right up. And played in them. It was absolutely rock stable. So I'm figuring out, okay, I've got to have a plug-in that with this computer, that plug-in is crashing the program. There's something wrong there. So now I got to go through 100, however many plugins, to figure out which one's causing the problem. Well, I also figured out fairly early on that any song that was just instrumental, didn't have any vocal tracks on it, every one of those worked. And only 2 of the songs that had vocal tracks, and they were early vocal tracks, worked. And so I said, okay, it's got to be a plug-in that I use regularly for vocals. And so that narrowed it down more. So that got it down to maybe 10 to 12. Now I've got it set up where I've got like 12 plugins on my vocal channels to sing, but I don't use them all. Most of them are either off but they're there in case I want to put them on. And so when I figured out, okay, it's got to be a vocal track plug-in, and I just got this wild hair, and I said, I should look at some of the company's plugin sites to see if they've updated. Because the software is newer and everything. And sure enough, the first one that I went to, they said, yeah, we have a new version. And I went, aha. So I downloaded the new version, I was still getting the crashes. So then I went in, and there was like a little, I went back and looked at it, and there was a little blurb that says, this version supersedes the last one. I went, I bet if I go in to the folder and I pull out the older version and just delete it, I wonder if that's going to make the difference. And that's what I did. And sure enough, GarageBand fired right up, has not crashed since. That was the problem. So the point of this fascinating, long-winded story is when you upgrade your computer, you do things like that. That's one of the first things that will break. And if you start running into problems, that's the way to troubleshoot. It's like, okay, what changed? Well, new computer, newer software, operating system. And so what legacy stuff did I bring along for the ride that it might not like? And that's how I figured out what was going wrong. So, yay me, because that could have taken days to figure out. And the hard part was the troubleshooting, because as soon as you opened a track to try and turn things off, or a project to turn things off and see which one it might be, while the computer would crash, and you never got far enough to do anything. So I would have had to have opened a track with no vocals on it, set up a vocal channel, and then started adding the normal plugins one by one until it started crashing. And that's like, I would have found it that way. But I just short-circuited the process by doing it that way. But so if you ever run into that, folks, that's the way to do that. Hey, Charlie Gabaldon, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. And Charlie streams every Friday right after Valerie Bott. So don't miss. I've told Charlie I'm a total lurker on his show, because I'm pretty much a lurker on Valerie's show too. But that's when I'm trying to get stuff done on Fridays, so I can try and have the weekend off if possible. So I just turn it on and enjoy the music, and then hit mute if I get a phone call or whatever. But I'm usually listening to Charlie because he plays good songs that I like. He's an old guy like me. And we're tap dancing a little bit. I really wanted to play these new songs for you. I'm kind of upset with myself that I didn't, but I didn't even think of it, because, I'd had the old computer and it was set up and it had been functioning for so long. You just, you don't remember that there's certain things that you need to do when you go to a new machine. You still go smoke and say hi to the chickens. And Lori had a runaway chicken for a while. Her black chicken got out somehow, and was kind of in the marsh, and the neighbors kept spotting the chicken, and her husband and the neighbors tried to corral the chicken for about a week. It was a runaway chicken, but her husband finally nailed the chicken and got it back, and she posted a picture, and the chicken was not happy. The chicken had enjoyed its time on the run, and it was not happy to be back in the cage. But the chicken is now safe, and because it was going to get ate by something out there. Yeah. Pole vault has a little experience with the runaway chickens as well. Yeah, when they hit the road, Jack. I did see going to this service. They lived in a place called Perry Park, which is in the foothills and down south. It's beautiful. The same, you guys all know Red Rocks and kind of what that looks like. That same geological formation runs up and down the Front Range. The Boulder Flatirons are part of it, Red Rocks and Perry Park. But they lived there, and going out to this service, we have a ton of wild turkeys, and a couple of them toddled across the road in front of me while I went down there, and they just always make me happy to see them, because they're pretty cool birds. There you go. Yeah, not on my watch. Yeah, that chicken is not going to get loose again. Ooh, sexy time for Ert. Good for Ert. Maybe Ert won't be so ornery now if he's getting a girlfriend. Just take a take a little pent up goat energy and put it someplace else. Into another goat, perhaps. But yeah, some of those runaway birds, right? Are we making choke your chicken jokes? Well, why wouldn't we, right? I saw one earlier and I just wasn't even going to highlight that. You guys in the chat can just enjoy it. I don't have to highlight all the jokes. Could be both. I don't know. I think Erd is pretty free range. I think. I mean, I probably yard, but looked like a big yard. Yeah, of course it was. Rhett. It goes without saying. Hey, Gordon Lee Weaver, how you doing? I won't be playing your song tonight. Not because I don't want to, just because I can't. There you go. I've got I live really close to one of the city reservoirs, and it's got wildlife all around it. So I see bald eagles fairly regularly. Last night I was out trying to see my hummingbirds. Well, I didn't see any hummingbirds last night, but two blue heron flew over. And, I mean, they're big birds, so I get to see some good wildlife. And I've got a fountain in the back that the birds like, and so I get a lot of songbirds. They kind of bounce between the neighborhood here and the reservoir, which is about, I don't know, 2 or 3 blocks away. All right, get back to work. And another, because I love Rhett's test streams. I think we all do. All the cool kids are doing test streams. And Rhett is king of the cool kids doing the test streams. So good luck. I hope that works out for you. All right, still on the OBS. Yeah, the crows. I'm not. I did not see any grackles this year, which are part of that corvid family, and they're like a shiny black green. They're a very cool bird, and for whatever reason, I didn't see a whole lot of them this year. But I usually get those in the spring. They're heading out for wherever they come from, and yeah, ospreys are cool. Um, they're very cool and very big. We do have ospreys here. I haven't seen one lately. But yeah, it's a little sit on the back deck and do a little bird watching, primarily the little hummingbirds. And hummingbirds are fascinating because they know you. They will come back to the same feeders year after year in the same area if they like the flowers. And scientists say that they will actually learn to recognize people. And that's been our experience. They'll come back when they first show up and they're a little skittish when my wife and I are out there working. But as the summer goes on, they will fly literally this close and just hum and look at you and hang out. And it's like, oh, it's you. Hi, it's me. And I love the hummingbirds. Those little guys are my favorite. And that's probably one of our fun things when we go to the mountains and if we're staying someplace and there's feeders and watch them because they're super territorial. And so they buzz back and forth, all trying to feed on the same feeder. And we see that in our backyard. And it's kind of funny because these little tiny birds, and man, they will buzz one another to try and drive the other guy off the feeder. Excuse me. got a little tickle tonight. I apologize. I'm going to mute for half a second. Okay, hopefully that will be a little bit better. Why don't we do it in the road? I don't know. People are crazy. Hey, Zach Thung, what's going on? How are you? I'm trying to read Rhett's thing right now, and we may need a translator for this one. Yeah, occasionally I'm baffled. It's true, Charlie, but they're very sweet. It's a I could, but you know what? I'm not sharing my whiskey with hummingbirds. Sorry. Just won't do it. Um, Now, speaking of which, something I did want to talk about. Obviously, there was no show this week or last week here because I was at my wife's corporate event. And Dom was not able to do the Sunday slide last week. His guest was going to be Mike Molino, and they were not able to make that happen. So, rescheduled for this week and special Father's Day Sunday slide. So, Mike Molino will be the guest, Dom will be there, and yours truly will be there. And we're going to all drink whiskey together and play music. So, and I have found my Father's Day present. My wife said, go, go get yourself something. So I went and found McKinnon 10-year bottled in bond. Now, McKinnon is a bourbon, and I used to get it for 35 bucks. And it was amazing. Well, all the whiskey snobs figured out how good it was, and the price went way up. But I got this 10-year for under 60, and I was very happy with that pricing. So I will be enjoying some very tasty bottled in bond, single barrel, 10-year aged McKinnon on that show. And can't remember what Dom said he got, but something good. So we'll be doing a little whiskey tasting, a little sharing, a little music, and Dom is getting closer to. He should have his cast off at the end of this week, and then he starts a couple weeks of rehab, and so he is on his road to recovery. But you always when playing football, you got to get those fingers spread, and if you get them in the wrong position, you can break one. Ask Dom; he knows. There you go. Okay, so James knows the secret sauce to getting this working, so that's good. And again, man, there's unbelievable knowledge in this community of people who know how to do things. So never be afraid to reach out and say, hey, do you know how to do X, or do you know somebody who does? Because people will help you. Hippie always used to say that, and of course you'd say, hey, boom, reach out and they'll help you out. But Jeff was absolutely correct. Most people are very generous with their time and their talents here, and it's very nice. Ooh, no, I've never. Old Granddad actually is better than people know. I've never had their bottled in bond. I have to look for that, Charlie. What? Tell me about the profile. Spicy? Does it have that rye spice? Is it a little vanilla? You get those chocolate notes? Is the oak strong? Inquiring minds want to know. Oh, you're a good lad. Oh, so the Oilers did come back and pull it out. That was not looking good there for a while. Well, they had to win. I mean, they just did. They if they didn't win tonight, it was over. So I'm glad it's a good series. I'm not a big fan of either team particularly. I like individual players on both teams, but yeah, and my boys are sitting it out. But thanks for the hockey update. You know, that's what the Canadians are always good for. They come in, how's it going, Here's the hockey score, Oilers win. Now, would you have said if the Panthers had won, would you come in and or just said, bah, and life sucks? Just curious. Again, like I said, I don't have a dog in this hunt. Yes. It's the same old 58 that I've always had. But the difference is the back end, the software, the computer sound card is much better, much newer. So yeah, my setup has not changed at all, other than the new computer. But yeah, everything sounds a hell of a lot better. I was listening to a couple of the older recordings and like and I could hear the quality declining. So it was time. Well, there you go. So you got a rooting interest. Yeah. Nope. If Panthers won, I would have said nothing. Fair enough. Fair enough. Anyway. Yeah, Pole Vault. I did see that Pole Vault posted a new song. I haven't got a chance to listen to it yet. I was again, I was gone most of the morning, and then I had to come back and actually work at my job. So I'm a little behind. Yeah, exactly. The problem was never the mic. It was never any of the other stuff. It was the back end on the computer. The hardware was getting tired, and it finally gave up the ghost. But again, I cannot complain about. Do the mathematician in my head. I bought that new in 2017. So 8 years of running 24/7 balls out. Can't complain. I got my money's worth out of it, and I will do the same thing with this one. It will run 24/7 balls out until it starts to show signs that it's having a problem, and then a new one. Yeah, well, man, sure, and they're still good. I mean, this mic isn't that old. It's, I don't know, 4 years old, maybe 5 years. I bought this one when I started doing this, and so that would have been in 2020. So, and I'd always had 57s and 58s. Now I had Beyerdynamics too. I liked Beyerdynamics. I felt like they tailored for when I was doing road work. I was very happy with them because they were durable, like the 58s, and they just. I think they had a little better coloration for live work in some respects, but again, you cannot go wrong with a 57 or 58. You just can't. They are rock solid. And I did look at some mics when I was in the music store the other day. Some of the Phantom powered ones that I'm thinking about maybe for recording, but none that sounded like I wanted to spend the money for just yet. A couple. Well, again, you know what? He would tape the hell out of the connection because that's where the weakness was. But man, you could bang those things around. I had some 58s that basically the ball part was totally destroyed. I mean, it was bent, and they still worked perfectly. So they're pretty damn durable. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. I mean, it just, again, unless you just blow the diaphragm. Some things, those things are just hard to break. Yeah, I suspect that the metal's probably not quite as good. I mean, what is, right? But as far as the quality of the sound and the components, I think they're pretty much the same as they ever were. I don't think they've changed anything, but I imagine that the casing is probably not quite as good as it once was. All right. Checking chat. I was trying to think what is. Oh, I guess the other thing I wanted to tell you guys about is I've got a new gig, and this was an opportunity that came to me by way of my wife. She just finds all these amazing things, and she sent me this volunteer opportunity, and it was an outfit called Wild Tunes, and this is a program that was started by some kid. Some kid, I met the kid, but he was in Houston. He was like 8 or 9 at the time, and he was a musician, plays piano, and he discovered that his dog would just get cool and calm when he played. So he got this idea: what if I go to an animal shelter and play for the animals there? So he started doing it, and the animals responded pretty darn positively. So his mother and father got involved. They've developed this program called Wild Tunes, and it's in a couple places in the country. It's in the Houston area, a couple shelters there. It's in New Jersey, and they just opened the program here in Denver. And so I went to volunteer orientation on May 31st. Met this kid who's now 11, maybe, or 12. Met his mother, his father, nice people, and got volunteered and signed up. And this last Tuesday, I went in and played my first hour gig and I went in the cat room and played some of my songs for the kiddies in there. And I gotta say, it was a very cool experience. The volunteers kind of enjoyed it, and the cats really responded very positively. Several of them would watch and give me and you should know I'm a cat guy, so I understand cat language. And they were watching, they were curious what I was doing, and then they would give me this. And that's cat language for "I see you, you're cool, I'm relaxed, I'm liking what's going on now." And a couple of them, got a little more excited. They were enjoying what I was doing, and then some of the other ones were like, "Yeah, I'm going to watch you, but I'm going to put my head down and I'm just going to doze while you're doing your thing." And but all the cats were, especially there was one that he was quarantined, or that's probably not the right word, but he was isolated because he was overstimulated. And I was in the adoptable cat room. So these are cats that are ready to be adopted, and they're, trying to find homes for these cats. And the one that was in the one room, because he was overstimulated, he was very cool. And he's like, "I like what you're doing here. I'm going to hang out, watch you for a while. I'm going to take a nap." And he was very chill. So I felt like I did my job in keeping the cats calm and everything. And it was a really positive experience. So I'm very happy to be a part of this program, and going in and telling the cats about whiskey and heartbreak and betrayal and whatever other stupid shit I sing about. But and the acoustics in the room were really good, I gotta say. I mean, it sounded pretty good. I did a little video, but my camera phone, the audio is less than spectacular. Not that I could play it anyway, even if I had it queued up, because I'm a dumbass. But I'll try, and I go back on the 26th, and I'll try and that's on my song list. I didn't end up playing it, but obviously you got to play Cat Scratch Fever for the What's New Pussycat. Absolutely. Stray Cat Strut. There's no no question. I didn't sing any of those, but they're on my list. Just a well, I mean, now that's a different thing because that's the cat going, well, wait a minute. You can't pay attention to your guitar because now you got to pay attention to me, bro, because that's how it works. Both my cats are totally anti-literacy. I cannot pick up a book in the morning or a magazine and read it at the kitchen table because they will literally pull it down and sit on it and like, hey, no reading, pay attention to me, because that's what cats do. Well, you're not wrong about that. Just a different kind of shelter. Yeah, I do. I will. Like I said, I took some video. It wasn't fantastic, but I'll be doing more of that because they want to post to get this program in other places. And but if you're interested at all, it's the website is Wild Tunes, and you can find it. And they're actively looking to open chapters in other shelters around the country. So there you go. Okay, cool. Good for you, Zachy. It's good to play with people. Yeah, again, it was fun. You know, I'm a cat guy. I love cats. I adopted 2 shelter cats in February, and they are turning out to be super cats. And my wife and I are cat people, but yeah, it's I'm glad to have them, and they're integrating themselves nicely into the house. Wow, shit, dog paw. What isn't manufactured in China? Although, manufacturing seems like some of it may be coming back. Who knows? Yeah, I did that, but I gotta restart the damn Chrome browser. That's why it's not playing. The Mac is like, yeah, let's go, and Chrome is saying, yeah, you gotta restart me. So I have these settings in which I can't do live during the show. So that is less than ideal. I I guess I could potentially kill the browser, and you guys would have blank live show for 2 minutes or however long it took. Not sure I want to go that route. I gave it serious consideration, but whatever. I don't know. We'll see. If I don't have a spare guest here in the next 15 minutes or so, I may do that just so I can take a break from yapping at you, and we'll see. But again, good test. Is my voice better? Is it getting stronger out of these drugs? This is a good test to find out. And I go see the doctor. I want to say on the 19th. Yeah. So yeah, next week. And I've been charting all this stuff for them, so I can go in and say, here's the dosage. I noticed this. This is better. Blah blah blah. And so, they have the data, so they can continue to treat me effectively. Some of you guys have some things going on. Sometimes it takes a while to dial in the medication, but seemingly we're awfully close right now. If we're not right on it, we're very close, because most things are just much better than they were. So hey, there's someone new in our chat. Welcome, Lori. Thank you for joining the program. Appreciate it. Nice to see you here. Oh, me. What, me? You are. I think I sent the link. You're welcome to come up and chat for a little bit, if and you want to. No pressure, no obligation. Certainly no pay, because it's a cheap ass show. I'm after buying a new car, after buying a new Mac, after paying off the old car. I'm broke. You know, I have no interest in being monetized, but then there are times that I think, God, if YouTube wanted to give me, $100 a month or whatever, I could use the money right now. But then you got to jump through all their YouTube hoops, and I'm just not willing to do that. This is fun for me, and when you take the money, you got to follow the rules, and I suck at following the rules. You might know this about me. Hey, speaking of following the rules, there she is. There's Miss Rule
Hi,
Person.
lady.
What's going on? How you
Can
doing?
you hear me?
Yes.
Am I screaming?
No.
Hi,
good.
everybody.
How you doing?
Good. You look awesome.
I actually feel quite good for.
You do. I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, it was.
You can tell.
Yeah, it was kind of miserable there for a couple months, and I don't want to belabor this, but you do what you do. I was a lot sicker than I let on.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
But
well, it was scary too with all the tests. You didn't know what was going on, and
yeah,
it's been worse than you want.
Yeah, well, and we.
The thing is, you don't look like this anymore.
Yeah, exactly. yeah.
I'm teasing. You
That's
always
exactly
look cute.
the way I looked. Are we kidding? That's exactly.
I can't even do it.
I looked at the playback and went, "Yikes, that is scary."
Oh, it's fun. But I know there was a time that you didn't even want to come online, right? I mean, it hurt. Everything was doubled.
Yeah. Oh, it made reading the chat more than a little challenging. I'm here to tell you. All right, there you go. Hey, chickens, make a run for it.
Yeah. Escape again. Well, you were talking about my chicken when she came back. I told you guys in the chat she was pacing. She was on one of her perches just pacing, and I'm like, I looked it up. I'm like, she wants to go back out. I'm like, she doesn't like my cigarettes in her face. I don't know.
Nah, it just had a taste of freedom.
Yeah.
Who anywhere gets a taste of freedom and then it's taken from them and they go, wow, okay, I'm fine
horrible. With it. Well, it's not like we don't treat them well, but yeah, don't clip that, James. Surprise. But I think I said that we never let them free roam. There's just too many coyotes and hawks around here, so they've always been caged in. But I think the chicken wire that we had on the outside of the inside coop was chewed apart either by a raccoon or just rusted. I don't know.
Yeah, probably the damn raccoons. They are. I have. Let's just say they've got a great press agent because people think they're cute. They're vicious pricks, and they're far too smart for their own good, and they have opposable thumbs. And I had to trap and relocate an entire family of raccoons. Oh. I mentioned I live close to a reservoir, and they go through the sewers because it drains down. So, and they're not sewers, they're storm drains. I should clarify. But they run towards the reservoir, and they would use them as their tunnels. And I'd see their little heads pop up, and they started going through my garbage. And so I had to change my barrels, and they would still knock it over. And they would get the garbage and they would stash it under my deck. And I thought, these sons of bitches are going to try and nest under my deck. So I had to put chicken wire, but the heavy duty stuff, all the way around my deck so they couldn't get underneath it. And then that pissed them off, and they started chewing the siding of my house.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm a live and let live guy, but now you've declared war. So I got raccoon traps, and I started trapping their ass. And then I gave them to a coworker. I hope
Peter's not listening to this.
I'm sorry, but this is what happened.
Peter.
Yeah, this is what we did. And gave them to, I didn't kill him. I gave him to my wife's coworker at the time, who has property out east of us. And he raised raccoons as a kid. He loves raccoons. And so I'd say I got one. He'd come pick it up, take it out there, and release it. And, they lived happily ever after. But I had to trap an entire family. There was 8 of them.
Oh, wow.
And the last
Big
one I
ones?
got was the last one was the Papa Raccoon, and it
Yeah.
took me 3 months to get him because
Wow.
he was smart and clever. He could thwart the trap. And and I had a game camera, so I caught him a couple times. He would come on the deck, look at the camera, and basically give me the raccoon finger.
With his opposable thumbs.
Yeah, with his opposable thumbs. But I heard a commotion, and I think, oh, I got him. And I went out there, and he's dragging the cage. He's got his paws out,
Oh
and
my
he's
God.
dragging the cage along the thing because he was big.
Yeah.
And I said, sorry, bro, but I got you, and you're going away. And after I removed all that, and this was 5 years ago now, never had another problem because I'm sure there's still raccoons that live down there, but they've not come up the drains and gotten into my garbage and
They
all
got
that
wind of how mean you are.
Yeah, well, it was.
But at least you transferred the whole family together. You didn't separate them. Which is
Well, eventually they ended up together. It took me, like 3 months to get them all.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it was.
They're like, where's my daddy? Where's my daddy? Chris, I sent you a link tonight. Check your emails.
Okay.
Sent out the link. I didn't send it to our group yet because you guys bury it with conversations. So I'll wait till tomorrow.
Yeah.
But where's the link? Yeah, it's like 20,000 messages ago.
Yeah, well, that's always the funny thing is, she'll put that because Lori's very organized and she puts the link up, and then, we get talking about guitar pedals and whatever else.
Yeah.
And, it's back 10 miles in the chat. What are you gonna do?
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
So I am doing something that you'll be excited about. I'm working on our song, and I actually have 5 of the 5 girls' videos in my possession.
Ooh, nice.
You know what I mean. So I'm working on that, which is so much freaking fun. You guys are going to love this next video, I think. It's going to take me a little while.
I think it's going to be fun. Well, and
that's my videos are fun. I'm going to make
absolutely. I should have the bass part finished tomorrow, and so that part's done, and then I can start the filming part.
Awesome. And Cameron had a gig tonight. Got called. He's getting called left and right from all other bands, which is awesome.
That's nice.
So he is back gigging. He'll be back tomorrow, and then he's leaving for the summer for Saturday. But he did his drums already for us. He's going to mix it. Fantastic. He wants to mix it. So, but I have video of him too. So this is going to be fun.
Yeah, that's going to be good.
And Les Nagy. Yeah, we're going to have a fun one.
It's going to be a good time. Yeah, I think it's going to be fun. Yeah,
it's a fun one, Chad. 5 girls and Chris. Yeah.
Let's just say it's fun for me. Maybe it'll be fun for you. Maybe you'll just get jelly. I don't know.
He might when he sees the women that I got. Some pretty sexy women of the community involved.
I'm just gigolo, and everywhere I go, people know the song.
I did that one already with you.
Yeah. That was a great song.
You and I working on something too. I had to sing for Houston. I'm multitasking. I sang a little bit. Yeah, crazy.
Isn't it nice having Hugh playing again?
Yes. Oh my gosh.
I mean, sounds
amazing.
So good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, again, I'm not going to whine about me, but man, Hugh had a lot harder road than I did to, come back, because I still could do things on a limited basis, and he couldn't at all for a while there. And man, that is soul crushing when you
we've all been friends in that chat room for a long time. If you think about it, there's not one person in that chat room who really hasn't had tragedy in the past 2 years. Yeah, tragedy or an illness. Yeah.
Well, we're kind of that age, and it's the old joke. Old people get together and my Geschwinkterfunken is not working, but that's a reality.
But hard things. I mean, hard where you didn't think you could play. Hugh couldn't play. I had my back. I couldn't stand too long.
Yeah, couldn't do videos. Couldn't stand in front of the keyboard. Yeah.
Gary had a little scare. Coldie's getting his teeth done. Leanie lost her dad. I mean, it's just poor Hugh, of course. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Laurie. Don't tell me you love me. Don't tell me I don't wanna.
Yeah, that was fun. That one was my idea because I always liked that band, and I just thought it would be with the group of people that we kind of had that we do collabs with. I thought all these people can do this song. If I can sing it, it's going to be good. And
you sang it awesome.
A couple test ones, and it worked out pretty well.
And I put trains in for you.
Yeah, so it was all
Just-
good.
Yeah. Oh my God. So we did a few. We just banged them out right in a row like that, and old time rock and roll, and
Yep.
the what's the other one we just did? Oh,
I'm totally drawing a blank.
why can I think of it?
I don't know.
Tommy Shaw.
Yeah, exactly. It
Whatever.
sticks. Blue Collar Man.
Thank you, Blue Collar Man.
I
Yes,
could
with
not come up with the
James.
title. Yeah.
And now we're doing this one. We've had a few.
Yeah.
We are
Got it.
banging them out. You too, James. You're banging them out with us.
Yeah. Well, he's a banger.
He
But
is.
to Hugh's point, yeah, that's what's great
We
having
do.
some friends in the community, and I feel very blessed. I've made friends literally all across the world, and
Yeah,
it's pretty awesome. And
absolutely.
we get by with a little help from our friends.
We do.
Gonna,
You
gonna
guys have been great.
try with a little help from our friends.
Uh-huh. Toot toot. The loose caboose is here. How loose
There you
is your caboose?
Well, okay. I mean, it's got caboose. It's got a little train icon.
You love it.
I like this person.
You love it.
They're my kind of people.
That's Rhett.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, but still.
Good
And,
night, Rhett.
you know,
Sleep
Redders,
well. Feel better.
bye.
Chris, you do not look like a zombie, Chris CQ. When he comes on my show, he's been on the show the past 3 weeks, 5:30 in the morning, singing Elvis songs and
That's
Neil Diamond
hardcore.
songs.
I mean,
Jeez.
in my
Thank you, Laurie,
economy,
for watching that.
Jesus ain't even awake at 5 in the morning.
No.
I'm useless.
I'm like
So-
stumbling to bed at 5:30 in the morning. No.
Yeah. I've seen
Sleep.
5:30 in the morning, but from the opposite end.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So good for you, Chris. Yeah, it's great to have some folks on. What does
So
this
the hang
mean?
tomorrow night is going to be a mishmash of stuff because I put it out. I wanted to get it out there because I have a back and track early, and I said, "Oh, okay, Flag Day in the United States is happening Saturday." So I got a couple of Flag Day games if anybody wants to join in, and then I remembered, oh, it's Father's Day. I should have done a Father's Day, so I have a couple of Father's Day thing thrown in there. And then boom, we're talking in the chat. Hey, guess what? Brian Wilson died. I'm like, oh, so now I'm doing like a little tribute to Brian Wilson. So it's going to be a lot of different things, but it'll be fun.
Yeah, I was
Get the sack pole, get some rest.
I was never a huge Beach Boys fan, but I always felt bad for him because, of course, he battled legal issues and, his mental illness and substance abuse. And he was a brilliant guy, but man, he had a hard road. So,
I don't even know that much about him. I just know that, usually if I have a show that coincides with when a musician passes away, especially a big one that we've all,
yeah.
Like Prince, I had to mention Prince. We did George Michael, and oh my God, we lost so many icons. I did Simply the Best for Tina Turner when she passed. Oh, you can't do the back and track yet, James. Thank you, Camila, for the link. Yeah, James is still setting up, but
Yeah.
don't worry. We'll just be happy to have you on panel. I got plenty to show.
Yeah, it'll be a show.
Yeah,
Well, maybe you caught, we're doing a big Father's Day show on, we'll be on this channel. I think we're going to do it on 3 channels. I think we're going to do it this channel, Dom's channel, and Mike Bellino's channel.
Wow.
Mike's will be the primary, but we're getting the boys together, and we're going to have a little Father's Day Sunday Slide Song Fest. So
Awesome.
I invite everybody to show up on Father's Day and listen to some music. If you guys don't know Mike Bellino, he
Absolutely,
is a
sir.
great pianist and just very good singer and writes some super good songs. So looking
That'll be
forward to
fun.
having him on. Yeah.
And that's usually what, 9 on a Sunday night?
Yes,
Eastern?
your time it's 9.
Yeah, I remember because I asked you because I was going live at 8 with my
Right.
son's band the other night, and you guys had to cancel anyhow. So
Yeah,
you
Dom
missed
is-
Mike.
Well, that was the thing. I was not planning on being a part of the show last week, other than just kind of hang out like I do. And
Yeah.
when they had to cancel, then we got together this week, and they said, "Well, it's going to be Father." Well, they said we'll reschedule, and I said, "You boys know it's Father's Day," and they both said, "That's all the better. I mean,
we
it's
go.
my day. I can do what I want." I said, "You know what?
And it's
Good point,
nighttime.
boys." So
It's
yeah.
nighttime. Not like you're out. I'm going out to brunch that day, but definitely be home by 9 at night. So
One would think that
Yeah.
would be a weird brunch to last that long.
unless I'm going to sit there and eat all day. Yeah. Is Hugh going to bed? Good night, Hugh. It's hard to see. I'm in the StreamYard chat.
Yeah, it is.
Goes a little slow.
Yeah, Molino is a badass. I'm checking the time, calling up StreamYard so I can check the time and make sure I'm saying the right thing.
What do you mean?
So yeah, it is 9 on Sunday.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, just confirming.
Awesome.
Because
Good night, Huey.
Good night, Hugh. Sleep well, sweet prince.
Get your rest and nap tomorrow. Don't forget to nap tomorrow before you come on my show.
Napping is important.
Yeah. Yeah. Hell of a brunch. Yeah.
Well, we obviously you can listen to Lori's accent and know she's from
Obviously.
Texas. I mean, that's obvious,
Yeehaw!
right?
Yeah.
No, she's an East Coast girl, and I'm a Rocky Mountain High guy. I live in Denver, Colorado.
The East Coast girls are hip. I really dig those.
Hey, Beach Boys, right?
away.
There you go. Yeah,
That's right.
nice
They are.
segue.
Yeah. Jeez.
But yeah, Lori is on the East Coast. She can tell you exactly where if she wants to. I'm not going to dox you like that. I'm no Costa.
No, Acosta, son of a bitch. Yeah.
That fucking guy.
That fucking guy. We love you, Costa.
You believe this fucking guy?
Oh, you're from Texas, Lori? I didn't mean to poke fun of the accent. I'm sure you don't say yeehaw. I am from Boston,
Okay.
Massachusetts, a little south of Boston, not exactly in
Very
Boston.
good. Hey, we love Texans.
I'm on the water.
As a Coloradan, I will tell you, I love Texans. They come up here, they leave a lot of money, and then they go back home. It's my
Nice.
favorite kind of people.
Yeah, watch me show
I
up.
wish the Californians would learn that. Come here, spend some money, and then get the hell out. But no, Texans are wonderful people. I
Everybody
really
wants to
enjoy
leave California now.
them. Yeah, well,
Used to be the hip
because-
place to be, but why would you want to be there?
No good reason. I mean, needles and people taking a dump on the sidewalk. No, pass. Yeah, exactly. We love Texas, except for Pole Vault.
Oh,
That guy. Yeah.
leave
you
with
go.
a trunk full of weed. Yeah.
Yeah, Texas is a good. The scenery is not fantastic for much of the state, but the people are awfully nice. Like as a rule, I really like Texans.
I've been to Texas a few times, not long enough to make any sort of decision about if I like it or not, but it was fun.
Yeah.
Dallas and Houston. And then my
Yeah.
sister lived in Texas for a long time, and I forget what part. This was like years ago, 30-something years ago. And she was coming back home after she had her first baby, and I went down there to drive back with her across country with her car and some belongings while her husband stayed and got the house and the baby and all that. That was a road trip. Me and my sister on the road. No phones back then.
No.
I remember we were playing a game where I guessed the lyric game, and I had a piece of paper, like just to pass time, and we were like waving at the truckers on the highway, and we just
Yeah.
stopped a couple of times in the southern states, so we can be like, we're Boston girls, and that was fun. It was a fun trip.
Now I've crisscrossed the country a lot of times, and it is a great country to just travel like that. It's amazing things you can see, and
Nowadays it would be easier with GPS and phones and all that. We were just like road map, like
well, yeah,
trying to
that's
go
the
through
thing.
New York,
I mean,
and
I'm an old school guy. Give me a Rand McNally Road Atlas, and I'm good. I'll get
really,
there.
oh God,
Yeah,
that's very old school.
yeah. Well, I'm an old guy, so what do you want? Yeah, but when on business, when they first started having printable maps you could get on the internet, we'd be going to a town, and so we're printing out maps and all that kind of stuff to nav the places we needed to go. And
Yeah.
when the Garmins and the TomToms first came out,
Oh
that
my
was
God, the
amazing.
TomTom, yeah.
We
It was like
put
the
us-
little square thing, yeah.
Oh yeah, like hey, let's find someplace to eat, and we'd put it in, and we thought that was amazing. And of course now all that's on your phone plus a whole lot more.
My car is a 2016, and that was the first car I ever got that has GPS built in it. Well, now it's like years later, And she's got the highway numbers wrong. She's taking me on routes that I'm not supposed to be on. Like, turn around. I'm like, you suck. So you're gonna use Waze on your phone now. That's what I use.
Yeah. There's some of those are no good.
She gets us lost. Oh, she'll be like, turn right after you're past the right. You fucker. Now where do I go? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what. Yeah.
Can you be a little quicker?
My business partner and I, we would scream obscenities at it. It's like, you dumb
Yeah.
bitch. But
Oh my God.
I mean, come on. Give us a hint here. Give us more than warning. We're going 80 miles an hour. We're gonna miss the exit.
Well, now I put Waze on, and I only realized, actually, it was when I went to visit Vince Janella in New Jersey, that you can change the voices on Waze. And I have a comedian guy.
Which guy?
Pretty annoying. He's funny at first, but now he's like, "Hey, you're doing great. Hey, you're driving with ease," or whatever. He just makes jokes when he tells you how to get there. But I'm funnier than him, so I was like, shut up.
that would get old in a hurry. Yeah, we tried the British lady for a while, like,
oh yeah,
proceed to the route and all of that. After a while, we went, you know what, screw you.
Yeah, you're annoying.
Yeah.
Be gone.
Well, again, that was a thing. You could download The Simpsons and you could get voices, and of course that technology was only around for, I don't know, 5-6 years, and then your phones replaced it. Remember when ringtones were a big deal, which apparently are making a comeback. I just noticed. Yeah.
I know everybody used to have like a cool song that they wanted as their ringtone, but then the cool thing was just to have the stupid the default one, right? Everybody had that. So now they're all coming back. Okay.
Yeah, no, I just saw that because this was a while ago, but I programmed my phone to have "Breaking the Law" as my ringtone.
Oh, of course.
Which was always great in church, Sorry, Pastor.
Gotta silence your phone in church, yeah.
Yeah, I'd never.
Hi, Ryan. Good to see you. Gary, is that the fastest route or fastest route?
Route.
I say route. What do you say in Colorado?
I say route.
Route?
Yeah.
That's as bad as process rather than process.
Yeah.
Gary says process. Route.
Coloradans are weird in that, we pronounce a lot of things properly, but we also have some other ones that we just have goofy.
What do you call the thing that covers your house?
A roof?
Roof, thank you.
Yeah. Well,
not a roof.
No, it's not a roof or a roof.
Roof.
Yeah. No, it's not. Hey, Ryan Hall.
I have a Yamaha keyboard. Everybody always asks me and I always forget.
Yeah, well, you can actually see the logo when you
right, but
head a little bit.
The model is a P125 Yamaha. I had to look at my book.
Yeah, there you go.
This is how I take notes. Look, I don't even know what's on the back there, so I'm showing you. It's just scribbled everywhere.
No, I'm the same way.
But I still have my manual.
People say, "What's your Yamaha guitar?" And I go, "I don't know," and I got to look in the sound hole. What it is.
Dirty.
Yeah.
Stop looking in the hole, Chris.
I'm looking in that sound hole. Hey, not visible. What's going on, man? How are you?
Who's here? Oh, not visible. Hello, hello. Yes, the Penis 125 keyboard.
Yeah. Ooh.
And Mike Shane is still here. Excellent.
Yeah, Mike has been here basically since the beginning of the show.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Good having Mike.
I only
around.
left for a little bit, but that was to download some more videos and to go say goodnight to the chickens.
Good night, chicken. How do we say goodnight to the chickens in Boston? It's like catch you later.
I shut the light and slam the door.
Okay.
I've never touched these chickens. I'm not a farmer. I'm a city girl.
Okay.
Never was raised with animals, so I'm like scared to hold them. And not that you can hold, well, you can hold chickens if they're used to that. Yeah. So that was the funny thing about trying to get this girl back is that we've had 3 flocks so far, maybe 4. And this one, we're just like, we're not coddling them. We feed them. They give us eggs. So she wasn't used to, she's still scared of us, even though she's known us for years. So every time you try to approach her to get her back, she'd fly away or flap away or ditch. She wouldn't just like come up, and where the other ones would be docile and you would see them and go up to them and they'd actually crouch down and you could grab them, but not these.
No. Well,
say goodnight to chickens with the barbecue.
Let's call it what it is. They're dinosaurs with feathers. you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, they can peck you and scratch the hell out of you, and the chickens can be mean.
Yeah. They talk to me. I can tell, when you're a mom and you have a baby, you can tell the cry that means their diaper's dirty, the cry that means they're hungry. I can tell they're different cries. Like when they're out of water, it's a certain sound. If they're out of food, it's a certain sound. If this, in danger, they go berserko. So it must be an animal outside. Yeah, you learn these things.
Absolutely. Well, that's the thing
Good
with
night, chickens.
being a cat person. Cats do very little vocalization amongst themselves. That's just they don't.
Nonverbal communication, you can tell.
Yeah, that's most of theirs. But they vocalize to interact with us humans. They're
Oh,
like, oh, we'll speak their language. 'Cause
yeah.
we're just big cats to them. And yeah, the meowing and all that kind of stuff. Cats don't do that amongst themselves.
That's funny. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, no, they don't. When they're
They just go-
meowing, doing that stuff, that's to interact with us humans.
Do they fight
Yeah.
any of your cats?
Yeah, they scruffle a little bit. They're brothers, so they wrestle and kind of chase each other around a little bit, but they
Give
don't.
each other noogies because they're brothers?
Yeah, a little bit, but yeah, they don't. No, never where they really are, looking to tear into one another, which is nice.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, always a danger when you put together two, shelter pets that don't have a relationship previously. But again, Kay and I are pretty experienced cat people, and we knew how to integrate them in such a way.
I was going to say, I think you did a good job. It happened pretty quickly, it seems.
Yeah, not bad. They're really getting along pretty good right now, and just hang out and they
See you, Gary.
and. Yep. All right. We will
Just
see you. Thanks for coming
comfortable
on, Gary. It was great chatting with you.
Yeah, that was fun to
It was
listen
good to
to.
hear more of the back. I mean, you were there for the whole show on Monday and got the inside skinny, but not everyone did. So I thought it would be nice to have Gary on and get a little perspective straight from the horse's mouth.
I think one-on-ones are good too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you can do some in depth and some follow up and
Get deep with Gary Hubs.
going deep with Hubs.
Deep with Hubs.
It's such a
Nice.
yeah.
So
No,
you didn't.
they will hiss. I mean, that's 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 about the only vocalization. It's just a warning. It's like I don't like you, and this is my place.
Hubs does rule.
Yeah, I think everybody agrees on that one.
Yeah. So we got the Friday lineup tomorrow night. Hubs is on at 1. I was going to say 1. Well, it is 1 a.m. Eastern time. Is it 1?
Yeah.
Why am I like? Yeah. No, 2. Wait a minute. I go live at 12 midnight.
Right.
Okay. He's on at 2 a.m. Eastern time, 11 p.m. Pacific.
Yeah, I do it
Darren.
in Eastern time. I know what time it is for me, but yeah. Yeah, I go on your show at 10 o'clock my time. So there you go.
All right. It's nice and early for you.
Yeah, not bad. Us being Hubs, being the West Coaster kind of guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Friday.
I made it through all the shows last Friday. Got all of Leanie's show, which I don't always get, or Leela's show, which a lot of times because it's such a good show. And I mean, I'm getting it, I'm like, oh, good night, and I'm out. But
Well, I mean, I'm on mine and I go directly to Gary's, and then when she goes on, it's 3 a.m. Right? So now I'm like, I gotta close up. I gotta wash my makeup off, but I have her on, And when I go into her chat because we're dumped, I'm like, I want to stay. Like, I love listening to her music and all that, and she's so fun and the pie. But by the time I come back up, she's still on my computer after I'm like done, setting the coffee pot and doing all that stuff, and then before you know it, I'm going to bed at 4 a.m. on Fridays, Saturday morning.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Dogs.
Oh, you have a protective dog. Okay.
And dogs and cats can get along great.
Yeah.
Some. Now, huskies as a rule don't like cats, but that's not universally true. I know of some huskies that have adopted little kitties, and they love those cats, and they're
That's very specific. Huskies don't like cats.
Well, huskies are big wolves, and so they want to eat
Come
the
from the
cat.
cat family?
Yeah, no,
Kinda?
they want to eat the cat.
Yeah.
My son's husky, I mean, it's got actual wolf DNA in it, and it is, man, it was a puppy, and we're hiking along the trail, and all of a sudden the dog jumped up and nailed a bird midair and ate the bird. It's
Crazy.
like, oh, wow. So,
Yeah.
and then of course later would jump up on the counter and nail pizzas and chocolate cakes, and I mean, Christopher
Wow.
had to put stuff on top of the refrigerator. It was the only way to keep it out of the dog's wheelhouse. That
But husky puppies are so cute.
oh, they're adorable.
Damn, they're so
Oh,
cute. Yeah.
Yeah, she's still an adorable, sweet dog.
They're
even though
pretty. Yeah, they're pretty dogs. But
yeah,
yeah.
she's
Hi,
pretty
Gordon.
elderly. But yeah, I like huskies a lot, but they are a handful because
they.
they're very smart
Hmm.
and they're very vocal. I mean, they talk back, and they're very stubborn and they want to have things their own way, and they're strong, and
Yeah.
they shed like nobody's business.
Uh,
When a husky blows its coat, I mean, you'd think you're at Macy's during the parade or something. It's unbelievable the amount of fur that
what
comes
was
off
this
a husky.
coat? That's fresh. Yeah, I could not have one. I'm so allergic to any animal that sheds, which is why I've never had a pet, really.
Yeah,
I
and
had a
you're right.
Doberman.
Yeah,
Sure.
they're not dogs. They're wolves are not dogs. They're related, but they ain't the
Wolf
same.
hybrid.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, this other than being a really good hunter, whenever we would hike, and if there was a donkey or a horse on the trail, the dog would lose its shit. And my son is not a big dude like me, and so Delilah would haul him down
Oh my
the
God.
trail going after the horse or whatever, and did it
Scary.
once when I was holding the leash, and I got some ballast, and she still was pulling me along. They're sled dogs,
Are you telling me that there is random donkeys on trails where you live?
Oh yeah,
Really?
people
That's
trail
so
run
fun.
with donkeys.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's a total Colorado thing, because
Well,
all the
I'm
miners
sure
used to
that's
use
something that happens
donkeys.
out
They
here.
actually have a race in Leadville, Colorado, that you run with your burro.
So
or
it's a
your
pet.
donkey.
It's not a wild donkey.
No, not necessarily. No.
Okay.
No, they exist, but yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, no, again, Colorado's a weird place in some ways. Yeah, that's the
Good
thing
one,
with
Doc.
cats. You never have, I've never had a rodent problem. And my old cats, they would, every once in a great while, every couple years, a mouse would find its way in the house. That did not end well for the mouse, because they would hunt in a pack, and the mousy was no more.
That would be a great reason to have them. We had, when we first moved here, a squirrel ate through the vents in the attic, the vent window,
Oh, God,
and then
yes.
laid, not laid, but had their babies. And we saw
Oh.
it chewed up. And then we're like, all of a sudden you smell something. We're like,
Oh no, that man!
they all died up there. And then, so now we have the wire all over that. We had to replace all the vents. And yeah,
Oh no, it's
nasty.
the worst, and they'll
Mhm.
chew through your insulation
Mm,
and burn your
they may
fucking
have. I
house
can't
down.
remember, that was a while ago. Yeah.
Oh man, that's the last thing you want is a squirrel in your house. My brother had him in his attic, and they did tens of thousands of dollars worth of damage.
Yeah. I think we lucked out. So I think we found out that it had babies in there, but it went out to get the food, and my husband and his friend boarded it up. So it was the babies, I hate to say this, that ended up dying up there because they were just little. They didn't chew
Yeah,
anything.
well.
So we blocked them up.
Well, again,
Rats
I'm a
in the attic.
live and let live guy, and I have squirrels.
But not when they're invading your
Well,
home.
we have an understanding, and
Yeah.
the understanding is, guys, I'll put out bird food. I don't mind if you eat some of the bird food. I'm okay with that. If you're in my house or something, I have an air pistol, and you're dead. And I talk to the squirrels, and we've had
They hear
no
you.
issues. Maybe they
Squirrel
talk to the
whisperer.
raccoons. It's like, he's serious. He'll kill you.
Yeah, right.
Don't-
They got wind. Like at Winterview.
Don't mess with this guy. So yeah, again, I'm a nature guy. Live and let live until you start tearing up my house, and then you got to go.
Ass kicking time for sure.
Well, I had a woodpecker for a while, and we have
Really?
him in the neighborhood. Yeah, and he was tearing up the siding on the one house, and I did not actually end up shooting him. I missed twice, which pissed me off because I'm usually a better shot than that. But
Yeah.
the woodpecker got the message like, "Oh, bro's not messing around."
Just get him
And
enough.
yeah, he went
Shoo,
elsewhere in the
by himself.
neighborhood, and I never saw him again. So I was like, "All right," So I didn't have to kill him, but I can't let you
Yeah, I
cut
don't.
my
I don't have
house, bro.
woodpeckers. Yeah. Well, I'm near the ocean, so it's all open ocean. There's no.
Yeah.
In fact, there's only 2 trees on the street, and ours has one of them. It's just open.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Which is
it's-
good. Woodpeckers. Oh, but we have a lot of birds.
Yeah,
lot of
and I love
seagulls.
birds, but man, they again with your house, they're super destructive.
Well, they shit everywhere. I know that. I have a
Yeah.
2-car garage, a 2-car driveway, and we park on the front of the house, not in the driveway, because our tree overhangs the driveway,
Oh
and it's
yeah,
just bird shit everywhere. And it's a pain. And they eat like berries, and when they shit, it's like glue. You can't
Yeah.
use your windshield wiper fluid to get it off unless you do it 20,000 times and you scrub.
no, it just smears it around. Make sure.
James has wasps. Yeah, it's nasty.
Yeah,
It smears
no,
it.
I'm not a. I keep
Wow.
industrial strength wasp spray because that's those guys. And again, I'm all about the pollinators and everything, but when you start building the nests in my garage and under my eaves, sorry, bro, you got to go.
I didn't know wasps chew vinyl. That's not a fun thing to have when you first move in, James.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of different kinds. Not all of them do, but there are,
Mm.
carpenter termite-ish kind of wasp, and they'll chew on wood or vinyl or other things. Yeah, most of
Horrible.
mine are ground wasps, and they're pretty benign, pretty harmless. I don't screw with them, but
They're not the ones that like chase you and sting you everywhere.
well, I had some of those. I get those occasionally, but they don't last long. They,
Wow.
Yeah, 2 years ago we had them living in. I have a decorative old stump driftwood, and they were
We did
living in
too.
that, and that was fine, but they attacked my niece, and then 2 days later they bit Kay, and I'm like,
Oh,
well,
wow.
you're done. So
Yeah.
I picked up the thing, I threw it in the yard, and then I got out the wasp spray and I killed them all dead.
Fumigate the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, sorry guys, I let you live there for 3 years and that was fine. You start biting me, now you're dead.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye. You got to go.
So why couldn't you play music? I didn't hear this part. Is it the Mac or?
Yeah, it's the new Mac. You got to set the permissions within, and it's
In StreamYard?
it's in Chrome actually, because it didn't. Yeah, they have to talk to one another to be able to access it in StreamYard. And you do it
Oh, so-
once and you set it and forget it. Well, the new Mac and I hadn't done it yet, so
You don't just go to a separate tab and share screen when you do it?
yeah. See, it won't allow you. You have to say it's okay to do this,
Ah,
which I did, and it said, "Okay, great, but you got to restart Chrome." I'm like, "Well, I can't really redo that or restart it during the show, so it'll work next week like a champion." But
pain. Well, let me see if I
Yeah.
can share something with you then.
okay,
Just if you want a little music. I'll just
Yeah,
share
I
one of
do.
ours real quick. But I'll share it below, not on screen.
okay,
If I still have it saved, hold on.
yeah. No, it'll be interesting to see if it lets me do it.
Just from here. Which one of ours do you want? Do you want old time rock and roll? Do you want?
You know what? I haven't heard old time rock and roll in a while. Do that one.
All right, I don't know if I have. You know me, when I do videos, I save like 20,000 copies, so I'm not sure which one's the right one.
Right.
Here.
Well, to your point, Dogpaw, I've got Brave browser, which I use also, and same deal. One time you got to set it up to share, and I didn't do it. Yeah, Chrome is total spyware, but they all are to a certain extent.
Keep talking, because I'm going to look for the actual one, because I'm not going to guess at which file it is. I have 50 million of them.
I know
This is
that
test
drill.
1, test without drums. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that was part of the thing with the new Mac as I went in and started cleaning files up and like, why do you have 7 versions of this? You
I
got
need
a
to do that
final
too.
mix, get rid of the the premixes and and everyone's taking up however many megs. I'm like, duh. Buy yourself some space that way.
Well, yeah, I need to do that because I have I'm in the red right now for memory. It's like, okay, you get really low, and it's low on gigabytes, not even terabytes. I don't even have that far.
Yeah, no, I'm in good shape again because I picked up another 5 terabyte auxiliary
nice.
drive just for this is my backup drive. So I'm spending time backing up my backups because
That's smart. That's smart.
External drives always die at some point. They just do. They're great to have, but
I
they'll
know.
leave you hanging. So back up your backups.
I'm so worried about that because I had an old one. It was 1 terabyte and it died. And my brother's an IT guy. He took it to another IT guy. They couldn't get into it.
Yeah.
And so I lost a lot of my project, a lot of my, home personal stuff. And so I got a small one now. And I'm like, you'd think I would back that up too. Because
it's going to fail on you at some point. They just do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, better to get ahead of it.
I lied, but I can get this if you have like a couple of minutes.
No, we got all the time in the world.
I'm just not going to get it from where I said I was going to get it from, so it's going to take a little longer.
Good to know. Not visible. It's going to work fine next week. Again, it's just not something you can set up on the fly. That just was poor planning on my part, but it's not something you do very often, and I just forgot that that's something that you had to do. So when the message came up, I went, "Oh yeah, I know what to do," and then I did it, and it went, "Okay, now restart." And I'm like, "Well, I can't restart in the middle of the show. That's not gonna work." So sorry, brah. I'm not. We have a lot of Aussie listeners, Lori. So I'm not familiar with that show, but I don't live in Australia. But maybe Camellia or one of our other Aussies is familiar with it. Pipe in, you lads and lasses from down under. Now, Doc.
I did not realize I was on mute. Sorry.
That's fine.
I'm still working behind the scenes. Go ahead.
Yeah. Figured.
You said Laurie, and I came back. I'm like, what? But you were talking to that Laurie.
Yeah. Well, usually that means, James, I'm into bees. That usually means that they're kind of migrating and they're looking for a new place to be and they'll congregate. If you got a bee guy coming out, that's probably what they'll tell you, and they can grab them and relocate them to a hive or whatever. Every year I go through this where the flowers start popping up and I tell my wife, well, we're not getting any bees. And she goes, we got bees. Don't worry about it. Well, I was doing a little deadheading tonight and there was lots of bees and they were doing their thing and it made me happy. I love seeing the bees doing their thing.
Cute. Oh, there's another Aussie, Les.
Yeah, Les is here.
He said he doesn't know that.
Well, again, Australia is a big country, so it may be a little more local. I don't know.
Canada.
It's not exactly like Canada.
All right. I think I have this downloaded. Now I have to try to present.
All right. And present arms. Okay, so YouTube. All right, I'll check it out. All right.
Sing a song.
Let me see if I can add it to the stage. I can. Aha. Well, I'm going to go back and do it, but
rewind it.
Yeah, I'm going to rewind it. I just wanted to make sure it would work. Okay. Well, here, because of Lori helping a bro out, here's a little music for everybody. Something that we did, a couple months ago. Big fun, and features the aforementioned Les Nagy, along with some of our other friends, Jason Leminski, of course, Lori and myself. So here we go.
Just take those old records off the shelf. I sit and listen to them by myself. Today's music ain't got the same song. I like that old time rock and roll. Don't try and take me to a disco. You'll never even get me out on the floor. In 10 minutes I'll be late for the door. I like that old time rock and roll. Still like that old time rock and roll. That kind of music just soothes the soul. I really miss it back the days of old. With that old time rock and roll. Ow! Woo! Won't go to hear 'em play a tango. I'd rather hear some blues or funky old soul. There's only one sure way to get me to go. Stop playing old time rock and roll. Call me a relic, call me what you will. Say I'm old fashioned, say I'm over the hill. Today's music ain't got the same soul. I like that old time rock and roll. Still like that old time rock and roll. The kind of music just soothes the soul. I really miss about the days of old. With that old time rock and roll. Still like that old time rock and roll. The kind of music just soothes the soul. I really miss about the days of old. With that old time rock and roll. Still like that old time rock and roll. That kind of music just soothes the soul. I reminisce about the days of old. With that old time rock and roll. Still like that old time rock and roll. Kind of music just soothes the soul. I reminisce about the days of old. With that old time rock and roll. Still like that old time rock and roll.
Yay!
All right. Get us back. Here we are.
Okay.
We're
Well,
back.
let me... Hi, Blue Jay. Oh, and Don Father's here. Waka waka.
Now it's just me.
Pinky's up. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to find this right now. So,
Okay.
New World?
Yeah, we were going to open the show with their version of New World, which was awesome. Yes, I'm a huge
movie night.
Firebird guy. I love Firebirds, Ryan. And usually you see me with my Gibson Victory bass, but I've owned that Firebird for 17, 18 years. That's when I play live, that's the one I use. And I love my Firebird. I'm a fan. No, I'm a Gibson bass guy. Always have been. My first good bass was an EBO. I owned a Ripper briefly. This is the second Thunderbird I've owned. And I owned a custom Explorer bass. Of course, I got my Victory bass, which is my favorite. And I've owned 2 Victory basses. Had one stolen, and then I replaced it, I don't know, a decade later with another one I found used for, I got it for like $300. Now they go for, if you can find one. On Reverb, they go anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000. But that is my story on basses. I'm a Gibson guy. Fenders are great. I just they don't fit my hand. I don't love the feel of them. So, and I've always liked the feel of Gibsons better, bass wise. Now I own several Fender guitars, love Fender guitars, but I don't like their basses as much.
Okay, I am ready for you.
All right, there it is.
You did a lot of good talking while I did that.
Yeah, that's pretty good, wasn't it? It's like kind of professional. So here's what I wanted to open the show with. This is the new version of New World from Ninth Gate, everybody.
It's been a long year. So long, so long. It's been a while since I touched your face. It's been a long year. Somebody save me, and I'll save somebody. This is a world's war against you and me. Find peace, be one. Stop on dying. Stop on dying. Somebody save me, and I'll save somebody. This is a new world. It's just you and me. Stand tall, stay strong. Sing of love, sing of love. Lessons learned. Move on. Be as one. Be as one.
Very cool.
Yes, yes.
Very cool. I mean, I love that. And I'll tell you why. You know, of course, I did a version of that. It's
Mhm.
me and 43 of my
I was
friends.
gonna say, yeah.
So I'm not special in that.
Nice
But,
job,
you know,
Gary.
when I did it, I love the song and I'm like, but it needs some balls.
Mm.
So I did what I did, which was a kind of a drivey bass, very similar to that. And there was a little guitar lick in there. It's like, God, I did a very similar guitar lick. So it was just
Nice.
interesting that when they decided to punch it up, they kind of heard it the same way I did.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I'm listening to like, well, damn, you know, that I guess great minds think alike, right? But love the song, loved every version of it, but
It
you know,
was
that has power.
obviously yes, but it's the type of song, and it's probably why JJ thought of bringing this up to Frank to put it out there to everybody that you can make it so many different things,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. No,
Heavy metal.
there was all kinds of versions of it, and it was great to hear everybody's take of it because it was they were
Yeah,
all
yeah.
different and creative. And I guess the only thing I felt bad about on my version, and I had to get over it, is it was my intent to do high backing vocals and all that,
Mm.
and my voice just did not tonally work that well with Frank's.
Yeah.
Frank has a very distinctive voice. He sounds great. And I didn't feel like I was adding anything to it. And I went, you know what? Just go ahead and do the lead vocals yourself.
That's a great idea.
And so
I
I just,
sing backup on mine. I thought it fit. I did piano, obviously, and sang some backup with him. But yeah, it's just he does have a distinctive voice, and you have a distinctive voice as well. So maybe they
yeah,
don't.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and they just, I
Leanie's
didn't feel like they were,
here.
hey, there she is.
Hi,
Hi,
sis.
hi, Leanie, how you doing? Now,
And
interestingly
Lena's here.
enough, I did my own backing vocals and I did the really high part.
Mm.
And then I had Frank do Frank's backing vocals low in there, and that worked.
Ah,
So, yeah, weird. But just fun interpretations.
well, I have time for one more that I put in the.
I see it.
This takes me
And
forever. I have to go to YouTube and find the song,
I know.
capture
And
it,
yeah, it's
go to
well,
Televisor,
thanks.
download it. Yeah.
Thanks for hooking a brother up
You're
who
welcome. I should have thought of it earlier.
well, yeah, Gary and I should have thought of it too, but you know, we were
It just takes a long time when you're
sometime when the
doing
bullets
show.
are flying, you don't always think of
Yeah,
the right thing to do. But
exactly.
yeah, this guy is in our chat. He's always in our chat, and he always puts out cool songs and covers, and you know, again, very distinctive
Yeah.
vocal style. And so we like this guy long time, and what an epic beard. So everybody, let's give a little listen to our friend Ryan Hall.
Pinder. Yes, Ryan Hall.
When I was a youngin', they used to teach us to play music like this right here. When I look in your face, mama, when I look in your eyes, I can't tell, pretty mama, I've been wasting time, 'cause you don't really love me. You just want me for what I am. Just treat me right, woman. Just might lose your money, man. When I first met you, baby, was a red light girl. Well, I tried to take you to a better world. Boo would not listen. Still, you think I am a fool. Oh, you had it made in the shade, baby. Don't let that tree fall down on you. every day. Well, I work real hard trying to make my pay, but you never tell you what you supposed to do. Had it made in the shade, baby. Now don't let that tree fall down on you. Well, you had it made in the shade, baby. Don't let that tree fall down on you. Thank you. Thank y'all very much. Yeah.
Yay!
There it goes. Thank you, Ryan. Good. And, kind of a deep cut there. And well done.
I didn't know that one. Yeah, Leonard Skinner, but it was a deep cut.
Yeah.
Did
yeah,
someone
it's-
post
that's
Ryan's channel? Oh, he's got a Ryan Jennyhow, doesn't he?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm doing things behind the scenes, so I didn't post the channel.
Yeah.
I closed it before I posted it. Ah!
Yeah, that's all right. Hey, thanks for the assist on that. Thanks for the song, Ryan. And
No
it's
problem.
nice to see ovations. I mean, that's an older ovation back when they were good. Back in the day, I thought I really aspired to own one. I played a bunch of them, and I never pulled the trigger on one, and now they suck. They're just not, they're just no good anymore.
Thanks, Chad, for the link.
Keep teasing myself, and I'll go into the music store and I'll play them, and I go, I just can't love this guitar.
Yeah.
So, what are you gonna do? There
Hey,
you
look
go.
at you putting the chat up on the screen. Has that been there the whole time? Or you just got
No,
it?
I looked
always
up in the
forget about
corner
it.
and I went, oh yeah, that's right, we can do that now. So
I was gonna do it on my show, but I think it's just this 10 of us showing. I'm like, you're not even gonna read it, but here it's a little better.
yeah, here because it's just the two of us, it's doable. Yeah, on your panel, it really wouldn't work.
Just the two of us.
Us, we can share chat if we try. Just the two of us, you and I.
It's so good to see Pendar. We miss you.
Yeah, I saw.
Are you still door dashing? Is that what you're doing? Door dashing? That's the last video I think she put out was what she's been up to lately. She likes to drive, and she was doing that as a part-time at DoorDash or one of the other ones. I forget. Uber Eats. I don't know.
Well, I will never forget. I mean, one of the cool experiences, and again, it's a great community.
Yeah.
So I'm doing a train show this last September.
A train wreck?
Yeah, no, a show. It was a show. I actually got to drive a real life steam locomotive, which was pretty amazing.
Oh, yay!
But I'm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and my phone rings, and the voice says, "Hey, it's Pendar. I'm in the lobby of your hotel. Come down and meet me."
Cut the shit.
And she had driven over from Ohio
What?
and drove over to meet me. And so we had a couple drinks at the bar. We had a little lunch, just chatted. It was
That is so
amazing.
fun. I didn't know that story.
Yeah, because Pendar's very cool. No, I
She is
really dig
cool.
Pendar. And that was a great experience. Like, oh, cool.
So
'cause,
she doxed you, like saw you on Facebook, tag where you were or something, or she's like, how'd she know?
I can't remember. I don't know if I'd mentioned it to her or whatever, but I mean, it was it's a national train show. And so she knew it was
Got it.
there and knew where it was and
Wow.
figured out that I
That's
was
fun.
there for my job and just, drove over one afternoon and said, "Hey, come,
stalked you.
can you meet me?" Yeah. So she totally costed me, but I was good with it.
But she bought you an expensive whiskey from what I'm reading, so it's all
That's
good.
right. Yeah, we shared a nice whiskey and we had a very, very pleasant conversation. Again, it's just nice
Very
to
cool.
meet the people in person. So
Well, then
yeah.
I do have time for one more. I'll play a Pendar one of my favorite ones of hers, if you give me a second to download that.
Absolutely.
Since we haven't seen her beautiful face in so long.
That's true. Hey,
Yeah.
speaking of beautiful faces, there's the Leelaverse. How are you?
Yeah, she was here, Lilies.
Yeah, good to see you. Looking forward to your show
Thank you.
tomorrow. I'm assuming I'll be up for it.
Yeah, you were last week. Yeah,
Yeah, again, life
I'm
is
downloading. So
short.
I'm gonna have to definitely
Right?
clean up my hard drive.
Why drink
Aw.
crappy whiskey? If you're again, if you're just gonna drink a little bit, drink something good. But yeah, this was a stalking I was totally fine of, and it was a pleasant change talking to Pendar as opposed to the overweight bearded train guys that I was talking to the rest of the week during the time. So
Right? Yeah. I bet. Sorry, this is downloading. Give me a sec.
yeah. Oh, we're not going to make you cry. It was just again, that was one of those nice experiences. It was
Yeah, so Leela got a new wig and you'll see it at some point, but love, love, love. It's almost like my blue one, Leela, but we won't give it away.
okay.
All right. Present video.
Present video.
Da-da-da. Mhm. She is just like right on the money with this song. You know how some people do a cover? She sings
Yes.
it like the original, and that's why I love it because it gets you moving. So
All right. Well, here we go. Our good friend Pendar. And check this out, ladies and gentlemen.
What I like about you, you hold me tight. Tell me I'm the only one, wanna come over tonight. Keep on whispering in my ear, tell me all the things that I wanna hear, 'cause it's true. That's what I like about you. What I like about you, you really know how to dance. When you go up, down, jump around, talk about true romance. Yeah. Keep on whispering in my ear, tell me all the things that I wanna hear, 'cause it's true. That's what I like about you. It's what I like about you. It's what I like about you. Woo! Hey! It's Steve-O on the harmonica. You can sing it again, but you do it better. What I like about you, you keep me warm at night. Never wanna let you go, know you make me feel alright. Yeah. Keep on whispering in my ear, tell me all the things that I wanna hear, 'cause it's true. It's what I like about you. 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 Hey! Uh-huh. Hey, 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 hey. Uh-huh. Hey. Uh-huh. Hey.
hey,
Hey!
you said hey on mute, and I said hey on mute. Yeah.
I didn't want to
Doesn't
blow
that
everyone's ear
get your
about.
blood pumping at 1
Yeah,
a.m. in the morning?
Absolutely,
Gee.
totally does. That's a great version of that.
I love that
I'm
one.
sorry that you're not singing more. You've got a great voice, and
No, she
so
should.
and yeah,
busy.
Miss High Stiller. I was actually on Miss High's show a couple weeks ago. I hadn't been able to do that for a while, and so she's still so. Got to get the duo you two back together and doing that. It was a fun show. But great to see you, Pendar. Thank you for coming in and dropping by.
And tell
So-
Mandar we said hello and good luck on his ankle.
Yeah, I hope he gets better. This old
See, it's an
guy's
age
gotta
thing,
stick together.
Chris. It's an age thing.
Yeah, God, knock on wood. With my other problems notwithstanding, all the years I played sports, never had to have knee surgery, never had to have ankle surgery. They're both still pretty good. A little arthritis in the knees, but I'm a little
As a
heavy and
football player and everything, that's pretty
yeah, I'm
impressive.
63 and I'm a
Yeah.
little heavy, and so I got no complaints.
You ain't heavy. You my brother.
Well, you wouldn't want to carry me up the hill, I'll tell you that.
Well, no, can't carry anything. I'm gonna put a little lip gloss on just to show you guys how cool this stuff is. I just found it. Yummy, clean, fresh. This is for Leela and Lainey. I don't know what color it looks like.
Oh, my lip gloss is in the other room. Doggone it.
Minty, I guess. I usually don't go for the mint. I usually go for like strawberry, but
Yeah.
you're welcome, girl, bro. Bro.
So I guess I got Blistics here someplace. 'Cause,
Oh,
Colorado, you gotta have Blistics.
pull it out and put it on.
All right. Don't really
See?
need it.
It's fun putting on lipstick. Ooh, look at you, all delicate. I feel like it's all on my teeth. Bro.
Yeah, Blisterix is weird, but it is good in
Sparkly.
the winter here in Colorado.
Yes, you need it. You don't want any chapped lips.
No, you do not. Chap lips not cool.
Oh.
Well, thanks for coming on, Lori. It was
You're
great
welcome.
to have you
Thanks for
here
having
to and thank you very much for thinking, hey, you know what? I can play videos.
It took a while. I would have played everybody's, but like I said, it's a process to download it from YouTube to my
Yeah.
computer and then download it here. But glad I got to play it.
Well,
for you.
and again, because great idea, I could have, because I have them all queued up, I could have copied the link in the private chat, and that would have taken you right to it. But
Or
no,
did you know you were going to have a well, I should.
no, I didn't. Obviously,
Did you know you were going to have a problem? Because you could have saved them and put them all down in the green room to begin with. That's how I do it on my show.
I could, yeah. See, I'm not that organized, and plus, with my connection, I don't have the washy. I don't have to do that.
Right.
So I, as a rule, don't. I queue them up that these are the ones I'm going to play tonight, and they're on a tab. So,
Well, I mean,
oops,
your connection can be awesome, but if you don't have your permissions,
you need
does some
permissions.
shit.
Let's face it, you got to have permission for everything.
Don't we now?
anymore. Pretty much.
Bummer.
Yeah, it really is. But, guys, as always, I so appreciate you hanging out with us on a Thursday night. Kind of your little warm up for the big entertainment on Friday. And it's just nice to hang out, have some chats, talk about, whatever we end up talking about on Thursdays. And it's not a show if you guys don't come and engage in this chat. So thank you very much for being here. Want to thank my guest, Lori's Mishmash, and my special guest, Gary Hubbs, for coming on earlier and telling us about Ninth Gate. So
Awesome
check
job.
them
Gary.
out. They have a brand new channel, which let me do this. Go to the Ninth Gate channel. And I'm going to put that in the chat right now because
You don't have the
probably
link.
most of you don't know that they have a brand new channel. So there you go. There's Ninth Gate for everybody.
Yeah,
Go
I think
check
Amelia
out their
posted it,
tunes.
and Gary posted it earlier, but
Yeah,
awesome.
I'll post it again because
go.
it's my
There you
show
go.
and I'll post what I want to. The fact that I posted anything is semi-amazing.
Well, Chris, it's always fun watching you on a Thursday night. Like you said, it's the lead up to the weekend, but it's great that you just have this hang and this chat, and so it's all about place for people to gather.
All about. That's right. If we were Canadian, we'd be all about it. Anyway, folks, have a wonderful rest of your evening, your Thursday/Friday, depending on where you are in the world. And we will see you at all the shows on tomorrow. Until then, for Lori and for Gary, I'm Chris Lane Sr. We'll see you next week. Be well, everybody.
Good night, everyone.